everyone. Welcome to the very special 100th episode of Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks podcast. They said it couldn't be done, but I had a good feeling. It took a little bit longer today than I had thought, but we got there. We're here in Ghostwood Forest, and I'm joined, of course, by my wonderful co-host, wonderful friend, and someone who understands what it's like to podcast with our very special guest, Xan Sprouse. How you doing, Xan?
I'm doing good, Charles, and I should once again apologize for our delay in this because I'm sure a lot of our listeners are thinking, are we going to see them again in 25 years? Like, what's going on? But I have a little bit of an update on that.
Oh, yes. What's your update?
Tomorrow morning, I have a consultation with a surgeon about getting my gallbladder removed.
Yay!
So that gallbladder attack that kept me from doing podcasts last time.
Right.
And then my mom's birthday, which kept me from doing podcasts after that.
Mm-hmm.
So, mom had a nice birthday. So there's that. That worked out well. But
well, good. I was going to ask how your mom did with her birthday.
Yeah, she had a nice time. We had, if you're here in Columbus, Ohio, I highly recommend the calamari at the Hunan House on Bethel Road. It's really good.
Interesting.
I would not recommend it for you, Charles, because they do say that it's kind of garlicky.
Yeah, that's pretty much fair boating for me. Yeah, that's not a good thing.
But next to Cooper's Hawk, it's the best calamari I've had in the state of Ohio. So pretty good. But yes, I'm seeing a surgeon. I'm having a consultation with a surgeon tomorrow. So hopefully no more gallbladder attacks that land me in the ER and prevent me from discussing Twin Peaks, because one of my favorite things in the world to do is discuss Twin Peaks with Charles.
Right.
And one of my other favorite things to do is discuss movies with DJ Nik. So what are we doing today, Charles?
Well, I was thinking, I pitched this to you that for our 100th episode, we needed to make it just a little bit more special, right?
Yeah.
So
we thought about doing the European pilot, which is essentially a movie.
Right. And we haven't really watched the European version, the international version.
The European international version. And so if we like talking movies with DJ Nik, why don't we just have DJ Nik with us to talk this European pilot, which is pretty much a movie?
Right. So joining us all the way from Milan, Italy, our wonderful special guest, my brother from another mother, DJ Nik. How you doing, Nik?
Hey, guys. Well, what can I say? This is such an honor and a pleasure. And first of all, congrats on reaching 100 episodes. That is fantastic.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And I actually have to say, I've been a long-time fan of this podcast, as I've let Charles know mainly about this. That Ghostwood has been my companion while I've been doing my shopping. So basically, when I'm kind of shopping, I'm listening to you guys kind of discuss Twin Peaks and everything else. It's just so comforting and so fun. And funny enough, when I'm actually kind of buying stuff and I burst out laughing, people think I'm probably the crazy guy living down the road because I'm like, kind of as I'm taking a box of cereals putting into my shopping cart. But I cannot stress it enough how honored and pleased I am to be podcasting with two of my favorite people in the podcasting realm and beyond. So thank you so much for this invitation.
Well, you're very welcome.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. And, obviously, Nik joins me on the Phantom Zone podcast and soon, once again, Titan Talk to Titans podcast, and talks with Xan and Rachel Friend on Gold Standard, the Oscars podcast. So it made perfect sense. This kind of brings Nik's two podcast worlds colliding. And now you get to experience what it's like on the other side of listening to Ghostwood. So hope you survive the experience, sir.
It really is chaos.
Yeah.
Well, I would call it almost transcendent, if you will, because going from gold standard, where today, folks, when we are actually recording this, Xan, myself, and Rachel just finished discussing Bridge on the River Kwai. So we go from a movie like that to Twin Peaks. It's very transcendent. So
it is, yeah.
So are you saying you kind of feel a little bit like this?
I think I'm high.
Yes!
Thank you. I feel like that all the time. Is that a problem?
No,
that's
not
fine.
at all.
That
not
actually
at all.
Works here.
It's actually required here. So here at episode 100, I can't believe that we've talked Twin Peaks or David Lynch stuff for 100 episodes. Mostly we've digressed. Okay, we get that. But thankfully...
That's what David Lynch does.
Right. So
it's fitting.
It fits really well. So
also, Jesse's not here to yell at us. It's okay.
Exactly, because we can do what we want. Whatever. We do what we want.
Whatever.
Yeah. So
is that your way of telling the pop culture world that South Park's been renewed?
No, but that works just fine because I just saw that earlier today. Yeah, so they got picked up to like season 30 now, so that's good.
Season 30.
But that's the South Park podcast. So here at Ghostwood, I just want to say, Xan, you've been like an exquisite partner for these past 100 episodes. I mean,
that's only because I have an exquisite partner, and I have to.
Is he bigger than me?
You are so lucky it's not drunk cinema right now.
Why is that?
Because that's what she said.
That's what she said. Oh, okay. We can still do that here. We can get away with that one, I think. I think we can let that one slide. But no, seriously, you've been a wonderful partner. And I've talked about this repeatedly, that there's nobody else I would have wanted to do this podcast with. So
I can't imagine anybody else I would do this podcast with. Thank you for being our, I'm the co-pilot that passed out because of food poisoning, like in airplanes. So I'm like technically a co-pilot, but I passed out Kareem style long time ago.
Okay.
And you do most of our heavy lifting, and
so what you're saying is I'm Robert Hayes and I have a drinking problem.
No, I'm saying you are you are the you're the Otto to my Elaine.
Well, shucks. I can't top that. I can't top that. All right. So for this 100th episode, what are we going to talk about? Well, as Xan said, we're going to be talking the European version of the Twin Peaks pilot, the international version. This is actually, we've talked the pilot a couple times before here on Ghostwood. We talked about it way back, episode 4, when we discussed it originally on April 7th, 2017. So that's a while ago, slightly. And then we discussed it a little bit for the 30 years later, for Twin Peaks anniversary, the 30th anniversary that we did in episode 72. So this is kind of like our third go around. But like I said, gives it a little bit of a fresh spin because Nick's here and he's going to watch along with us. So we're going to do this and we're going to get the alternate ending, which we haven't discussed before. I mean, we talked about it a little bit.
The alternate ending that makes no sense.
Right.
If you have a continuing series.
Yeah.
So.
I was actually going to point out. Sorry for interrupting.
No, go
Charles.
ahead.
I was actually, on some, while I was, preparing for this podcast, I was actually on some message boards and what have you when it came to Twin Peaks, and so many hardcore Twin Peaks fans pretty much warn folks not to watch this version if they want to watch the whole series, because it spoils the whole series for you. So apparently there's different schools of thought on where this, should we say, pilot lies when it comes to the Euro version because of the way it ends.
Right.
And so I heard that there are some Twin Peaks purists who almost don't want to know about this version, if you will, because the fact that the whole mystery that the show creates is pretty much solved in this one episode.
Well,
right.
I will say there are some surprises that this doesn't spoil. So it's not entirely spoilerific.
It's not entirely spoilerific, and you make a good point, Nick, because this is exactly what happened to me. Because Twin Peaks premiered, I was still in the 8th grade.
Yeah, it was April 8th, 1990.
Yeah, I was still in the 8th grade. It was the end of the 8th grade, and so I wasn't really watching a lot of weird-ass dramas. But then I got into high school, and it was a huge deal, and everybody was loving it, and so I kind of came in for second season and fell in love, and then I had to go back. And fortunately for me, the TV network Bravo was rerunning them when I was in college. Right. So I was able to tape a lot of them off of TV because they weren't readily available to rent on video. And I was in college. I had no money. I couldn't buy the whole set or anything like that. But what was available to me to rent was the pilot, the European pilot. So I only saw the European pilot for years. And then one night I had a Twin Peaks marathon with some friends, and all we had was the European pilot. And then somebody said, wait, I think I have this on tape somewhere. And we were able to get a tape of the original airing, and I had never seen it. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is so much better. So this definitely, because you are watching this going, wait a minute, what? Because, you know, the second episode, Cooper tells you he doesn't remember any of the stuff that happened at the end of this,
right.
at the end of this pilot. So you're like, wait a minute, huh? So, and of course when we did find out who killed Laura Palmer, it was a big deal. Everybody knew who it was. And even if you didn't know what was going on, you knew that it was her father possessed by Bob. Like, that's what people were saying.
What?
So,
you just ruined this for me. No.
What? 30-year-old spoilers. How could you? Spoilers. I wasn't able to get my hands on the actual American original pilot for years and years. So being only watching this one, I was like, I don't get this. There's got to be something else going on here.
So if you're wondering, why did they make an alternate version?
Because they had no faith in the series.
Right, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. So what it was, it's 20 minutes of extra footage that solves this murder. And they filmed this one because the network asked David Lynch to film it in case the show wasn't picked up. And that way they could just release it as like a TV movie. Which is what happened because, overseas, instead of, releasing, remember, this is back in the day when, home video was on VHS tapes. And one of which I have right here behind me. And, they were in Blockbusters and whatnot. So all you had was this pilot. And they wanted to kind of treat it like, it's a TV movie, standalone. You could just go to the video store, rent it, and that would be it.
Right, because the concept of having a complete series on home video was not something that was widespread at all. I think the only things that were full series that were on VHS were mini-series like Roots or North and South or The Thornbirds.
Right.
And Star Trek. Star Trek was one of the first TV series that gave you the entire series on home video, even on VHS. But getting the whole series of a TV show was a DVD phenomenon. And they did it a little bit. I mean, they released the first season of Twin Peaks in that great box set that looked like the Black Lodge, but it took up this much space. I mean, it was like a 1.5 feet long. And the same thing was with Pee-wee's Playhouse. They had these giant box sets that were prohibitively expensive, took up tons of shelf space, and just weren't what people were doing because honestly, people who really loved shows were taping them anyway.
Yeah, they were just taping off the TV.
There wasn't much of a market. Yeah, they were taping them off
the
TV.
That's what I did, back in the day.
That's what I did too.
Yeah.
See, I had the entire series taped off of, I had the series after it came back from cancellation, taped originally from ABC.
Right. And
then I filled in my holes with the, when they broadcast it on Bravo with the Log Lady introductions.
Yeah. Thankfully, when I watched it for the first time, I just took a gamble, and I thought I would like it, so I recorded it for posterity.
Very smart move.
And yeah, needless to say, I was very happy for years because it took me a good while before they finally released. I didn't spring for those VHS tapes because I was in college. I had no money.
No
money.
It was hard enough to buy a blank videotape.
Right.
When you're in college.
Yeah, pretty much. So consequently, I had to wait until they got released on DVD before I could actually own the set. So I had those VHS tapes quite a while. And, even when they finally released them on DVD, it was all like they released season 1 and season 2, but season 1 didn't have the pilot because the rights were for some other, held by some other company. And so what they did is and I've got this behind me, is that they released a separate pilot DVD. So you had like the pilot DVD, then season 1 without the pilot, and season 2. in a set
Ooh.
eventually.
So you have these 3 sets that you're like, what am I
Right.
doing here? And then they came out with the gold box.
Yeah, which was a
Which you have
godsend.
behind
Yeah.
you, which
Yeah.
was great, which we had to keep because then when they did the entire mystery,
Mm-hmm.
where they added Fire Walk with Me and put everything together,
When they finally
there
put
were
it on
some
Blu-ray,
things.
yeah.
They put it on a Blu-ray, but they didn't have things like the Saturday Night Live sketch and some of the extras. So
Right.
that's why Charles and I have like 3 or 4 versions of Twin Peaks on our shelves because we
And then
need all that extra crap.
Then we got that from Z to A box set, which we reviewed here on Ghostwood,
Mm-hmm.
because we had to find out there was all these like the missing, not just the missing pieces, but there were some documentary stuff that we didn't have. New documentary
Yeah,
stuff.
and that's so. Not only did we buy the first series like 3 times,
Yeah.
we bought the return twice.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we pretty much, I think, between the two of us funded Twin Peaks: The Return. So
Return season 2. Come on, Mark
Yeah,
Frost, David Lynch. You know you want to do this.
yeah,
You want to
get
do
on
this
that.
for us.
So this European version is identical to the U.S. version, except for like the last several scenes revealing Laura's killer, like we talked about. Lynch was apparently so pleased with the footage shot for the European ending that he incorporated some of it, of course, into Cooper's dream in the 3rd aired episode, Zen or the Skill to Catch a Killer, which essentially is what really hooked me on Twin Peaks. I mean, I was hooked from the beginning, but I was a Twin Peaks fan for life with that dream sequence, like a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So we will get to see some of that footage here as we watch the international version. So if everybody's ready, Nick is going to be joining us. So as we watch it, although his is going to be a little different, so we might have to take a little pause after the scene where Cooper and Harry go back to the Twin Peaks station and are sitting in front of a bunch of donuts, and Cooper is asking where he can find a good hotel that's reasonably priced.
Clean room, reasonably priced. That's what he needs.
So we'll probably take a little pause there as we kind of switch his file.
This is the third time. We're talking about the pilot.
Yeah.
Did either one of us remember to buy donuts for this?
I did, but it's a good thing because they probably would have been dried out by the time that we started. So.
Oh, will you stop it? They're donuts. They're fine.
But
you live 18 seconds away from a Krispy Kreme.
I
Fine.
know. I was tempted to do that, but then I'm like, do I want that much sugar this late at night? But
Oh, it's still daylight out.
I know, but I'm trying to be good.
I wish there was.
I'm trying to be good. Okay, with my.
I wish there was a place that served donuts at 2 a.m, but unfortunately, this is not the States, so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's one thing you can get here at 2 a.m. is donuts.
That's true.
Exactly.
So God bless America, right? All right.
Donuts and tacos. God bless America.
America. Yeah. All right. So if everybody's ready to watch this, we are just about 1 second in. We're at the black screen of blackness right before the opening credits start.
Right before the bird.
Right
before we see the bird.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So
and now it's dark.
And now it's dark. So let me get ready. And if everybody's ready, Nick, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So we'll all press play together in 3, 2, 1. Doink.
Bloop. That bird right there. That's what I was talking about. So this is our
smokestacks.
This is our introduction into the town of Twin Peaks. It is a logging town in the Pacific Northwest.
And I have to say a shout out to Badalamenti for the amazing score.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Right?
I love the way you say Angelo Badalamenti's last name. Badalamenti.
Badalamenti, yes. Well, I mean, I know he was born and raised in the States, but of course he has Italian heritage. Of course, Angelo Badalamenti. So, love this score. As soon as I heard this, I thought to myself, I have to own the score to this because it's just so beautiful, because it's kind of soothing and calming, but there's almost like a darkness underneath. It's just...
Which is exactly what they were going for. Yeah.
Exactly. No, excellent choice when it came to Badalamenti for scoring this, for sure.
Yeah, and Charles will tell you that when we watch The Return, because Charles and Lori came to my house to watch The Return, and
which was glorious.
It was so much fun.
I had so much fun that day.
I don't think I'd been that excited since like Christmas of 1986.
Oh,
like when I was still a child, I was just so excited all day. Like it's happening tonight. And as soon as I heard that opening note, I just started to cry.
Yeah,
it was like, oh, I'm back home.
You know what?
She did. I'm a witness to that. She actually did start crying.
I did.
I wish I'd been there because I heard about the glorious spread that you had.
Oh yeah,
yeah. She went all out.
Like, why can't I invite myself to the Sprouse house today?
Oh, and we should point out, of course, that Xan has been to Snoqualmie Falls.
I've been to Snoqualmie Falls, yes.
Which is featured right here. She's been to this spot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so weird seeing some of the names here, knowing the kind of movies the folks have been in. We had Russ Tamblyn, who is in West Side Story, of course.
Yeah, we're going to talk about him pretty soon on Gold Standard.
Yeah.
In a couple of weeks.
So when I see these names, I'm like, wow. I mean,
maybe we should do a crossover because, well, for reasons which we are going to discuss at the very end of this episode.
That's right. Yeah, Russ Tamblyn and Richard Bamer both.
By Mark Frost and David Lynch.
Directed by David Lynch, as it should be.
That's right.
So,
Duckies.
We've talked about this before on this podcast, and NPR's David B. and Cooley will agree with me, as will a lot of other people who were featured on the CNN documentary about the 90s and television. This is 2 hours of television that changed the face of television forever.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I know it's a very superficial comment, but I was just blown away by the beauty of some of the actresses in this.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we start out with Joan Chen.
Right.
Yes, and I was like, oh my, I was like just blown away. Look, I mean, she's just absolutely gorgeous to look at. She's
a flawless human, definitely.
Yeah. Fabulous actress and just beautiful, beautiful for sure.
Absolutely.
And here we have the late great Jack Nance, who,
here he is.
While he was alive, was
the lonesome
pretty much everything David Lynch ever did. Blows.
And I got to actually hear that in Spanish, which is rather romantic too.
That's fantastic.
What could that
be?
Here?
What have we here? Is that my lunch from yesterday? No, I don't know.
No, it is not. Well, I don't know. Did you go north of the border? I don't know what you ate. Oh, I made a dirty joke.
Ba-boom! Ba-da-ba. There we go.
Yeah. And this is an interesting thing in The Return where we see this scene. But Laura has been removed. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, not to spoil too much for you on that one, but
hey, no worries.
You listen to our podcast, you know all this stuff already.
Oh, yes, I do. Though I actually want to go and watch it myself after having. I mean, you guys
should. Much,
yes. I shall and I will, because you guys create some amazing visual pictures in my head. Ooh.
Yep. Just found a dead body on the beach.
Lucy, get Harry on the horn. I'm early on that. Sorry.
Yeah, you are. A little bit.
Yeah.
Put Harry on the horn.
Harry on the horn. Yeah, Lucy is not great with technology and never particularly gets great with technology.
No. Because later, obviously, in The Return, she has problems with cell phones. The lamp on it,
against the wall.
The black phone, not the brown phone.
Not the brown phone. Yeah, and you see like how many phones are there? Like,
right.
This is not a big room, okay?
She's dead.
Wrapped in plastic. Well, hold on. Where? Yeah, this is the biggest crime that Twin Peaks has seen in 50 years.
But hypothetically, though, where is actually Twin Peaks kind of supposed to be? Kind of the Midwest? Is that where it's?
That's Washington.
Washington State.
Washington State.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very close to the United States-Canada border in Washington State.
Currently on fire right now because of
currently on fire.
So
because of climate change.
Like Seattle, that kind of area.
A little bit north of Seattle.
Okay, so like between Vancouver and Seattle, kind
12
of.
12 miles west of the state line.
He's going to tell you exactly where it is
Yep.
coming up. But yeah, exactly. It's what we call the Pacific Northwest.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, north of Seattle, south of Vancouver, right by the border. So, yeah, it's absolutely beautiful.
So here we have Sheriff Harry S. Truman with
Shouldn't be hard to remember that.
Doc Hayward.
Doc Hayward, wake that Andy up. I love how everybody just knows that Andy and Lucy are sleeping together, and they're just wake him up.
Well, it's a small town. Everybody knows everybody's business.
Everybody knows everybody's in everybody's business.
And here, once again, we have the iconic change of music from the theme to the creepy, should we say, music, if you will. Yeah. Which tends to be the case.
You got to be a little more specific about creepy music in Twin Peaks. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
this is true. But I mean, at least when it comes to this episode, they kind of play between the main theme and this.
So
throughout the whole episode,
Deputy Andy is crying.
Right.
Is this going to happen every damn time?
Is this going to happen every damn time? This is like Mrs. Blodgett's barn. We should probably mention that Doc Hayward is played by the late, great Warren Frost, who is Mark Frost's father.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we've got too many dead people in this scene. It's very sad.
It is, but
it is very depressing.
We have to kind of keep in mind that, this is this is now going on 31 years. So
yeah, we got a lot of time. We got a lot of time with Warren Frost, but unfortunately, Jack Nance. Nick, I'm not sure you know this, but Jack Nance was murdered.
Oh, so, no, I did not.
There's the big reveal.
There she is.
Laura Palmer.
He was murdered, what was it, 1996, Charles? 96, 97?
Sounds about right. Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but I think you're right.
He was in Lost Highway, but he was not in The Straight Story. So, he was dead by that time.
So here's Laura's mom.
Grace
played by the incredible Grace Zabriskie.
Wasn't she also in Gremlins?
Wasn't
she was in The Grudge.
Wasn't she Billy's mom from Gremlins?
I don't think so.
No, she's not Billy's mom. No, she's not.
Okay, because they do look kind of familiar.
I can see why you think that, but no, she's not Billy's mom.
Pay attention to that ceiling fan. You're going to be seeing a lot of it.
Yeah, pay attention to the ceiling fan. I'm trying to think of some things off the top of my head that she's been in. Like Nick said, she's in The Grudge. She plays Sarah Michelle Gellar's mother-in-law. No, not Sarah Michelle Gellar's mother-in-law, Clea Duvall's mother-in-law. Mm-hmm. And she plays Paul LeMatt's mother in the Burning Bed, which was a made-for-TV movie that was extremely powerful.
Farrah Fawcett Majors, right?
Farrah Fawcett, where it's based on a true story where she kills her abusive husband to get away from him, and she plays the mother of the abusive husband, who was played fantastically by Paul LeMatt, who is here we have Don Davis.
The late, great Don Davis.
Late, great Don Davis. And Charlotte Stewart, who viewers may recognize from Little House on the Prairie. That was her.
And also a little movie called Eraserhead. Maybe you've heard of it.
Just a little movie called Eraserhead. Yeah.
So Sarah's now starting to freak out a little bit.
She's starting to freak out because Laura's not upstairs and she's not with her boyfriend. So now that's 2 places down. So we got to figure out where else we can check.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna call up to the hotel. All right.
It's because she may be with her father, who works for Benjamin Horne at the hotel. And surprise, surprise, she's not in the guys' locker room at football practice. But here's the thing, neither is Bobby, her boyfriend.
Probably because there wasn't cocaine there.
Probably because Bobby killed a guy.
Bobby killed a guy.
Yeah, we don't know that yet, but Bobby killed a guy. Yep, I've stood right there and looked at that hotel from that spot.
Oh, wow.
I am so jealous. You would not believe how jealous I am of that.
Charles, when we can travel again, let's all go. Like, let's the 4 of us go.
I think we should do that. I would be all in for that.
Totally should do that, yeah.
Just name
we
the time
stay at
we're
a cheaper
going.
hotel. We can stay, okay. Those are saddle shoes.
Saddle shoes. Pay attention. Yeah. So here we go. Sherilyn Fenn as Audrey Horne. Who looks
amazing
so damn young there.
If you don't follow her on Instagram, you totally should, because she just adds positivity to your day. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. Yeah.
Richard Bamer.
Richard Bamer.
And the great Ray Wise.
The amazing Ray Wise.
Who we got to meet.
Who we got to meet.
Yeah. And take pictures with. So.
And who is my friend Jody's uncle. Because he's actually from Ohio. He married my friend Jody's mother's sister, I believe.
Wow.
I think he went to Kent State, didn't he?
I believe so, yeah. Because he's from northeastern Ohio.
So he and I have that in common, because I did my first 2 years of college at Kent State.
Oh yeah,
nice.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. The Norwegians are here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the Norwegians who he wants to buy into his Ghostwood project, which is essentially cutting down the forest and turning it into condos. So.
But was it just me, or did kind of like should we say, the main Norwegian seem like an extra from ABBA?
Oh, totally. He's
Bjorn from ABBA.
Right.
Yeah, he's totally Bjorn from ABBA. Yeah, absolutely.
So you're just waiting for him to break out into Dancing Queen.
Exactly. I was expecting, something to happen there, some big old music to get started there. Yeah. But yeah, Richard Beeman, amazing.
A lot of people kind of have mullets in this episode because, it was filmed in 1989.
Right.
So.
And I will actually say that he has aged so well, Richard Beeman. I mean, Xan, you and I got to see him in Good Night and Good Luck, which is obviously later on in this, but it's amazing how well the guy's just he's made a pact with the devil, I think, because looks amazing these days.
Yeah, it doesn't really look all that Italian though, does he?
Not at all.
So, Mr. Palmer, that's the brown phone, not the black phone. No. We'll be discussing racial equity in acting when we discuss West Side Story.
And then some.
Yeah, about how actors who aren't Italian play Italians and actors who aren't Puerto Rican play Puerto Ricans.
And here's where everything goes sideways.
Yep.
Yeah.
You get the big moment.
Yeah.
So Leland's trying to reassure Sarah, but Harry just walked in.
Sheriff Truman.
What?
And
What?
Okay. Yeah, it switches between them. It switches between these two themes.
Doesn't matter how many times I watch this episode, I can't take this scene.
This is the most fantastic performance by Grace Zabriskie.
Grace Zabriskie needs a friggin' Emmy for these next 18 seconds.
Right. I mean, Ray Wise does a great job too, but
he does too.
But Grace kills it.
He absolutely does. Yeah, she absolutely kills it.
Because she makes you. She really makes you feel it.
You feel it in your soul over the phone. I mean, just the screaming you hear over the phone.
Right.
It's just awful.
I think that's also the gift of also David Lynch, who's able to get always the best performances out of his actors, no matter what movie he does.
Oh,
it almost seems like
he really does. Yeah, he really does. It's pretty.
My daughter's dead.
Yep.
We won't talk about who killed her yet, but
we're gonna leave him out of it.
Well, actually, we probably can, because remember, this is the alternate ending.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
We can talk about that. Yeah.
Yep.
Slow pan down.
It's not
slow pan down the cord, the phone cord.
Yeah, back when phones had cords. Remember that, kids?
Yep. Suck on that, Gen Z.
But we'll be talking a little bit more about Richard Bamer as Tony in West Side Story, even though he's not Italian. But whatever.
We won't hold that against him.
Oh, it's okay.
I've been
here too.
Yes, you have.
And they have such amazing screamers in this show. I mean, but they're so visceral between Laura's mom and Laura herself
Heidi.
And everything else.
Laura.
Seconds
what kept you, Heidi? Seconds on Knockverse this morning? Too busy jumpstarting the old man, huh? This is the exchange we have with Heidi in episode 1 and in our last episode, which I think is adorable.
Bookends. Whereas, David Lynch likes to bring everything literally full circle.
Full circle. Yep. I like how Bobby doesn't go to football practice. He just goes for coffee at the diner.
Right.
Unless he's just good, I suppose.
Thanks for driving me home, guy I barely know. Wink, wink.
And can we also talk about Peggy Lipton? The late, great Peggy
Lipton.
Great
Peggy Lipton.
Yeah.
Oh, what an amazing
Norma,
woman.
I'll see you in my dreams.
I'll see you in my dreams.
Not if I see you first.
Not if I see you first.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Yeah. Bluesy rock music playing on the jukebox at
Right.
Seriously, this is 7 a.m. right now.
I want to know who put this song in this record in the jukebox. But
I want a jukebox that's full of Angelo Badalamenti bluesy rock songs.
Right.
Would that be amazing?
That would be. Yeah. Chris is going to get you that for Christmas, right?
Where would I put a jukebox, Charles?
Well, I did buy you all those 45s for your birthday.
That's the thing. But if I have room for a jukebox, I'm buying a pinball machine.
There you go.
But hasn't Angelo Badalamenti done kind of those kind of concerts like Elfman did, or those kind of folks did, where they have an orchestra just playing his music? Has he done that before?
Not with Twin Peaks music.
Not with Twin Peaks, no.
Because trust me, I would buy that in a heartbeat if he did.
No, just in general. I mean, like these, should we say, film and TV show scorers do, where now these days it's very sort of hip to have these guys go on tour and do these whole kind of things.
Not that
I've ever seen. Yeah, not that I've ever seen. So
a 3-stage rocket, a pocket rocket.
Pocket rocket.
Henri Richard makes me think of the Montreal Canadiens, who was known as Pocket Rocket.
Oh, that's so nasty.
The younger brother of Maurice Richard, one of the best hockey players ever to grace the earth.
Well,
that's true.
Understand
here's
that was
another
a euphemism, but
here's a way that this gets dated. He doesn't have a phone in his truck.
Right.
But you know what else he is? He's a lying, abusive, drug-dealing sack of shit. So I wouldn't necessarily believe him when he says he's not going to be home. So anyway, yes, Shelley is married.
Bobby, he is your supplier after all.
Yeah, Shelley is okay. Let's explain a little bit about Shelley here, because you might be wondering why this waitress is having an affair with this high school kid. Shelley is married after dropping out of high school in junior year to marry the initially charming but ultimately abusive Leo Johnson, and she was only a year ahead of Bobby in high school. So she went to high school with him, so that's how they have known each other.
Oh.
So, and now we're finding out here too that Leland's daughter, who is Laura, and Will's daughter are besties. So these fathers know each other pretty well. So this scene gets me too. So sorry, I'm just crying all night long. I apologize.
So Leland's here to confirm the body.
Yeah.
Identify the body.
So
my baby.
And Cheryl Lee was so excited when they called her to actually be in the show.
Right.
Because she was supposed to be a photograph and a corpse. That's all she knew. That's all she got hired. Because they didn't, like Charles said before, they didn't know if the show was going to get picked up. So there's...
Meanwhile, in Ghostwood Forest.
Meanwhile, in the forest, trees whooshing. So they needed somebody to dress up as the homecoming queen in the
Lara Flynn
and we're
Boyle
going to change
the
into
dark
sexy shoes now.
Yep.
There you go.
Got those killer red pumps.
Yeah, which really don't go with that outfit at all.
Not really. Maybe with her lipstick.
So, not even with her lipstick. It's kind of an earth tone. Yeah. Audrey's a little bit of a free spirit, shall we say?
James has always been cool.
James is cool. He's always been cool.
Even though Audrey tends to get on my nerves majorly throughout the course of this episode.
That's the thing. Audrey is your typical. She's the trope of the rich little girl who wants attention.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I love that we
here
get
I am
more
in
to her
school.
character.
Snake.
Mike, Mr. Bonehead Boyfriend. Ugh.
You notice that Bobby's the only one that calls Mike Snake.
Uh-huh.
True.
This is a stupid nickname, and Mike's
Right.
stupid.
And from the back of his head, it was like, is that John Bon Jovi?
Nope.
Yeah, he wishes.
But he does have the excellent mullet.
He's got like that like 80s soccer hair,
Right.
Ridiculous. I might actually hate Mike more than I hate Leo Johnson.
You kind of vacillate back and forth on that one.
Yeah, but Mike is at least like Leo at least advances the plot. Like
Here.
His evilness advances the plot, but Mike's evilness is just annoying. Yeah. Also, are you not in communication with the other cops? He's already in the principal's office.
Right.
Also, I have a question here. How
The girl just randomly screaming across the courtyard.
How old is everybody supposed to be in the classroom?
17, 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look like
senior
35,
year.
but never mind.
What'd you say, Nick?
Is it just me or they look like they're in the early 20s or mid-20s at least?
Well, that's because of
they are.
James Marshall's forehead looking like that.
Yeah,
right.
there's that. But yeah, they look like that because they are.
Oh, okay. No, in fact, but I mean,
Yeah.
but they're supposed to be way younger than that, right?
They are. Yeah, they're in high school. They're seniors in high school, so they're 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
So.
But TV is really good about having people way too old to be playing high school kids.
Look at Beverly Hills 90210, where like they're mid-30s and they're supposed to be like 20.
Now, granted, Lara Flynn Boyle kind of looks like she should be in high school here.
Yeah, Lara Flynn Boyle definitely looks very young, and I think Bobby looks like he could be in high school.
Right.
I went running like I always do, and I didn't go to football practice because I didn't feel like it.
Okay. Snap.
Yeah.
Why didn't you feel like it? Are you upset about something?
Yeah, okay, Dr. Hawk. Lie down on the couch, Bobby.
I don't want to make the announcement. Why don't you make the announcement?
Now? Do I have to?
God. Making me work and stuff.
Gotta say all this depressing crap.
Just because I'm the principal. God.
I love how he's like, what's going on? It's like, give it a second. You'll hear it on the speaker in a second.
Right. Laura's dead?
Yeah. You weren't where you're supposed to be this morning, so suspect. This was one thing that I really loved about the return that I didn't expect to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Really hit me was the scene where they have the evidence box open in the conference room and you have Laura Palmer's picture, Bobby, who is now on the Twin Peaks police force.
Irony.
Well, and the irony of it, because Bobby killed a guy.
Still trying to figure that one out. Twin Peaks season 4, just saying.
Yeah, he walks in and sees Laura's picture and he starts to cry.
Yeah.
And you forget that
I loved her and she loved me.
So, yeah.
You think that wasn't a football practice that I killed my girlfriend? You are crazy.
You get off me. Because this is a good idea, is to punch cops.
Oh, of course.
Future Twin Peaks Sheriff's Department officer, Bobby Briggs.
Yeah.
Well, they say there is a very fine line between criminals and police.
Yeah.
That those who don't break the law end up becoming policemen.
Well, either that or the policemen become criminals. Like they do
exactly.
here in America. Hooray.
That's
Don't
why.
get
That's
started
why.
about America, the state of American police right now.
You either live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Exactly. That's exactly it. It's a very fine line between...
Slow Lynchian pan down the hallway. The corridor.
Yeah, it's like, somebody send her home, please.
Right.
You know? Also, well, I mean, they are going to send everybody home, but I really feel for James in this scene.
Right.
Because he was Laura's secret boyfriend. So nobody knows how he feels about her, so nobody knows to comfort him. And nobody really can comfort him out in the open because, as we find out later, if anybody finds out, then some biker is going to get his freaking head kicked in by Bobby and Mike. So.
And is it an American thing to have like the principal announce stuff over the speaker?
PA, yeah.
Yep, every morning.
Yeah. Yep. We know.
Yeah, we don't
morning
get that in
school
Italy.
announcements.
It's not in over here in Italy. It doesn't happen. So I was just kind of wondering. It seems like I guess it's an American
Now,
thing.
generally they don't cry over the PA, but Wolchek did.
No. Yeah, this was a weird thing for me too, because for some reason, my sophomore year of high school, I want to say 5 students died.
Oh wow!
Yeah, there was somebody who was sick, somebody who was 2 guys were in a car accident. So
Hey, it's my T-shirt.
Hey, it's your T-shirt. Check it out. But yeah, every morning we would have announcements, and sometimes it would be the principal, and sometimes it would be kids who, you know, there was some, as technology went on with schools, there'd be like TVs in every classroom, and you'd have like a closed circuit video system where you'd have like a group of kids, usually like maybe the journalism department. They will do like, this is the morning announcement crew, and they tell you what's going on that day and who's got what practice at what time and who's got what game and what clubs are meeting, and if anything is going on assembly wise, like if you're going to have any sort of presentation, that kind of stuff.
Oh, because over here it's totally a non-thing over here when it comes to announcements being made. So I was like, oh, okay, that's how it works, I guess. Okay, cool. Yep.
I'm just going to hear up about 300 cc's of Thorazine. She's going to take a little nap.
She's going to take a little nap now. But yeah, and anytime you have some sort of like, you know, we had situations where there'd be inclement weather. The principal would get on like, hey, it's principal, let's say Northrop. That was the principal at my main high school. And just want to let you guys know that you can't go anywhere for lunch today because the roads are too bad.
Oh. No, that sort of never happened over here, so I guess it's weird. In fact, I never sort of questioned the fact of how in the world our students got communiques of anything going on, but I guess we just didn't get communiques.
Maybe nothing went on, I don't know.
No, exactly. Also, bear in mind that you couldn't drive when it came over here because you guys get your licenses at 16. In Italy, it's only 18, so you've graduated by the time you can get your license.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we had we actually had a situation. I was in the 8th grade when this happened, but we had a situation where 11 kids piled in one car. Well, yeah, very important.
Which you guys covered on an episode, folks. Check that out on the podcast because Xan and Charles do a great.
Yep.
Do a great job on that. I didn't even have to listen to the. Oh, you're welcome. I didn't even have to listen to the audible version of that because I had Charles and Xan explain it to me perfectly. So, folks, check that out.
That's one thing we haven't covered is the Cheryl Lee Audible.
That's right.
The audio.
It's very well done. I actually did go and listen to it, but you guys kind of pretty much put it all in perspective for me. So yeah, it's great.
You have the Ghostwood notes. That's like Cliff Notes, but for Twin Peaks.
There you go.
Yeah.
The Reader's Digest version of Twin Peaks.
Yeah, we had some kids die in a car accident going to school lunch. So our lunch got closed to any underclassmen by the time I got to high school. So it was bad. Yeah, it was a bad scene. So, yeah, so that's a diary.
Yes, a diary, not the secret diary.
The diary. And not the pages that we find in the bathroom 27 years later.
Dude, I am totally tripping right now.
Do it, Charles. Play the soundbite.
I think I'm high!
And of course, we all know from Fire Walk with Me that the person who called her was James.
Right.
So that's a little bit of a red herring, the whole her phone rang thing.
So here we have a new twist, is that
wait, what?
This guy, Yannick Pulaski, his daughter didn't show up for school either.
And didn't come home last night. And what the heck's going on?
People say, what the heck's going on? Who built the pyramids? Elvis. Oh, sorry. He's got a little Mojo Nixon.
Michael J. Fox has no Elvis in him.
Oh. 2x4s, 4x8s. 2x4s, 4x8s.
This is the Packard sawmill, now owned by the widow Packard.
Josie.
No, Josie. Both, these are.
And this is Catherine with the redhead on the right.
Mm-hmm. Catherine,
played by the great Piper Laurie.
Yep, Catherine, who was born there. So.
And Xan, that actually made, when I saw obviously the sawmill, I had to think of the Simpsons lumber. We need lumber.
Push the plug.
We need lumber. Yep. Oh yeah, for sure. So yeah, we want to shut down the sawmill here for sentimental reasons.
Don't forget the other Simpsons quote for Twin Peaks. I have no idea what's going on.
What's going on?
Brilliant. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, they did a pretty good parody of Twin Peaks on that with the giant dancing with the horse under the traffic light.
Yeah, right. And then even later on with, I think, what was it, Wiggum, when he has the
burns the suit.
Burns his suit.
So whenever your boss walks by you talking about somebody being a bitch and asks you your name, give a fake name. Like not one of your coworkers. Just say Beef McLarge Huge or something like that, and just make something up, because you're going to get fired for no stupid reason. So, yeah, we don't really learn too much about the Pulaskis, do we?
No, we don't.
Really,
no,
we don't really meet her mother or her father. We just know that they.
I mean, we spent some time a little bit here and there with Ronette, but
with Ronette, but Ronette is in a coma for. Yeah,
right.
She's in a coma for a lot of this series.
Right. I mean, we do get to see more of her in Fire Walk with Me, the movie.
And we see more of her in The Return, and we see a lot of her right now. This is the most we see of her.
Speaking of Ronette.
So, yeah, Nick, this is a bridge to Canada.
Aha.
So, because Ronette was in Canada, that's why the FBI gets called in.
She's crossing the border, yeah.
Oh, because now it's under their jurisdiction, obviously.
Now it's kind of an international case.
It's an international case. Not only did she cross state line, she crossed the country line. So,
yep.
She is beaten and burned, and
Finley's fine twine
being tied up. Yeah, Finley's fine twine. Yep.
And I don't know why, but it made me think of that one scene in the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Towards the end, where they have the one girl who's escaped from the house and is walking the way she is. It kind of reminded me of that for some reason.
And she's covered in blood. And
that's right. She's like, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back.
Here's the great Everett McGill, who I adore.
Also known as Stilgar in Dune.
Also known as Stilgar. Yep.
Muad'Dib.
And the werewolf in Silver Bullet, Stephen King's Silver Bullet, with Corey Haim, Gary Busey. So,
for the longest time, I thought was related to David Hasselhoff for some reason.
Hasselhoff wishes.
I kind of see it, but
I could see it. Yeah,
I could see
I
it.
Totally see that. I got to put on my sunglasses to drive around in the. You waiting for those drapes to hang themselves?
Said those drapes would be ready by 10. I want those drapes out by nightfall. Yeah, whatever, you old bat.
I shot you.
This is why I'm doing Norma on the side.
Nick, yes, that is true. He married Nadine because he shot her. That's why Nadine only has one eye.
Felt guilty.
It was a hunting accident.
He felt guilty about it.
Yeah.
Here he is, Cooper.
There's our man.
Here he is, at long last.
Here we go.
Diane, 11:30
Entering the
p.m.
town of Twin Peaks.
12 miles
5
west
miles south
of
of
the
the
state
Canadian
line.
border, 12 miles west of the state line.
I've never seen so many trees
So
in
many
my life.
trees in my life. W. Fields would say, I'd rather be here than Philadelphia.
54 degrees on a slightly
to...
overcast day. Weatherman said rain. You get
guys
paid that
have
kind
to
of
refresh my
money.
memory on this. Do we ever
What's up?
get to meet Diane or not?
Yes, we do.
In the return, we do. Yeah, in the return, but never in the original series.
Played by a very famous actress. Remind me to tell you how much
she's,
that is. Lunch was $6.31 at the Lamplighter Inn.
She's Laura Dern in the return.
Yep.
Aha, okay.
Tuna fish sandwich,
but
slice of cherry pie and a cup of coffee. Damn good food.
Damn good food.
Diane, if you ever get up this
Diane,
way,
if you ever get up this way, that cherry pie is worth a stop. But that was a thing in the original series.
Sheriff Harry.
That Diane, won't be too hard to remember that. Diane was just the tape recorder. Like, when you bought the soundtrack on CD and you opened up the insert,
will be
it
able
had
to recommend a clean place, reasonably priced. That's what I need.
That's what I need.
Clean place,
reasonably priced.
Oh, Diane, got to find out what kind of trees these are. They're really something.
Really something. So they have pictures of all the cast.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a picture of Cooper holding up a tape recorder that says Diane. It's very cute.
Yeah, because throughout the original series, we never sort of get to hear Diane's reaction to the recordings that Cooper does, right?
No.
Nope, we never see Diane in the original series or in Fire Walk with Me. We only see her in the return.
Yeah, because for the longest time, I thought to myself, I wonder whether he's just talking to himself and recording it just for his own kind of deal.
That was one of the things that was actually...
That was a theory for a long time.
Yes, for fan speculation, yeah. So here we have Cooper meeting Harry for the first time.
Yeah. Let's talk about it up front. Bureau gets called in. Bureau's in charge.
Sometimes local law enforcement has a problem with that. Oh.
You got a phone. It's got a little ring.
That's from Fire Walk with Me.
What kind of fantastic trees do you have around here?
Big, majestic Douglas firs. Douglas firs.
Which, here's the thing. We have those here in the Midwest by the Appalachian Mountains. I don't know why he's so surprised.
Well, he's not from the Appalachian area.
He's from like Philadelphia. He's from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but
he's taken a road trip, I swear.
Well,
you know,
maybe just never noticed.
Maybe not.
They're just better in Twin Peaks, okay?
They are just better. Everything's better in Twin Peaks, especially the pie.
Right.
So, yeah, this is also one of those hospitals, I think, like in several times. I'm going to go ahead and say no. There were 3 perpetrators. So, hey, Charles, I meant to ask.
Yes,
have you been watching Fear Street on Netflix?
I have not. Why?
Okay.
I didn't even know it existed.
Because, Fear Street, it's sort of based on the books of R.L. Stine.
Okay.
Who is,
I thought
if anybody
Goosebumps and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Goosebumps. Yeah, who is from Bexley, Ohio, a suburb of Columbus.
Right.
Anyway, there's 3 movies. There's one that takes place in 94, one that takes place in 1978, and one that takes place, half of it takes place in 1666, and the other half takes place in 1994 again. Okay. But the 1978 episode, written by Nik Olkowitz, Walter Olkowitz's son.
Interesting.
Yeah. Ooh.
Interesting. Might have to check that out. Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate the tip.
If we're since we're talking about who raped Ronette Pulaski, I figured I could bring up.
Yeah, I wonder why you're thinking about Walter Olkowitz for whatever reason.
Sorry, Walter Olkowitz.
Not the character, He plays, not the
Yeah.
actor. Yes, let's preface that.
Not the actor, yeah.
Don't they make a cute couple?
Now, is this Mike or is this Philip Gerard? I don't know.
There's Dr. Jacoby.
Oh, Russ Tamblyn, everybody.
Russ Tamblyn, Amber Tamblin's dad.
It's so weird to see him like that because I'm used to seeing in West Side Story. It's so weird to see him that old.
Yep.
Well, you should watch him in The Return. He's even older.
Yeah,
exactly. It's so weird.
So or Peyton Place. He's in Peyton Place also.
Exactly, where he's like the leader of the Jets and everything.
Gary
else.
Cooper?
Like, wow, man.
Agent Cooper.
FBI.
Yeah,
I think you would know if it was Gary Cooper, dumbass.
Yeah. Cooper seems less than impressed with Dr. Jacoby here.
Yeah.
Well, also, he's a psychiatrist. He wants to go to the morgue.
Right.
And he's talking about Laura like a little bit gross.
And the fact that he has like cork in his ears.
There's that. Yeah.
Not those silicone
we do
ear plugs that Cooper likes.
We do see, Laura's parents didn't know she was seeing me as I basically rub the vagina of the hula girl on my tie. I mean, it's just ugh.
That guy's a psychiatrist?
Yeah, we do find out later in the secret history of Twin Peaks that he does lose his license to practice medicine.
A good thing.
It's probably for the best.
And in case you couldn't tell, this is a David Lynch production because of flickering fluorescent lights.
Flickering lights. Mm-hmm.
Flickering lights, yep. We scrape the nails. Yeah, I'm not looking for that.
Tweezers.
I have one of those things. Chris had one, and he's like, do you have any use for this? I'm like, yeah, it looks like it's from Twin Peaks. I'm going to just play Agent Cooper.
Need something to
okay, Charles, tell me when it's over. Because I can't watch this part.
Get in there.
Is he done?
Get in the nail. Get in the nail. There he goes. Pulling it out now.
All right.
And it's out.
It's out.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Diana at the Twin Peaks County Morgue with the body of the victim. What's her name again? Laura Palmer. Got here before the autopsy. Diana, it's the same thing.
I told you. I had a feeling we'd see this again.
Ring finger under the nail.
Under the nail.
Let's see what he left
us. And it's tiny too. So it's typewriter paper. He has to take the nail off.
Diane, give this to Albert and his team. Don't go to Sam.
Don't go to Sam. Albert seems to have a little more on the ball with this.
And we'll find out who Sam is in Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me.
Yeah. And we'll find out who Albert is next episode, won't we?
That or next one or the one after that. I'm not sure. It's coming up soon. Meanwhile, Big Ed's gas farm.
Big Ed's gas farm.
Ding, ding.
Donna, obviously in her parents' car. The station wagon.
With a brand new hairstyle that she didn't have in the homeroom. Wonder what happened.
Well, you know what? Sometimes you have to put your filming on hold, and then you got to come back to it a few months later.
You know, that's how she dealt with her grief, by going to the salon, I guess.
That's how some people do it.
True.
That's how she processes. You're all greasy.
Mr. Monkey Wrench.
Mr. Monkey Wrench. I thought Xan was Mr. Monkey Wrench.
Yeah, I like to throw wrenches into the works. Yeah. No, Mr. Monkey Wrench is what I've named my gallbladder.
What the hell are you doing? Yeah, Mr. Bonehead
all
boyfriend.
Over for you. In case you didn't realize that Bobby's in a lot of trouble. He's my best friend, Donna. You're supposed to be with me.
Look, don't tell me where I want to be. Second of all, Laura was my best friend.
Get in the car.
You're on my lot, friend.
Oh, wait, I'm not your friend. Ugh. Go back to hell, you dollar store John Taylor. Ugh, Mike. And Mike doesn't get any better. He just stays like a complete and total douchebag.
Right. Yeah. Okay. No,
He
gets a little bit better when he becomes an insurance salesman or something, or
car salesman. The only thing he does okay is that he doesn't hire what's his name.
Yeah.
And he basically tells what's his name that he's a loser.
Right.
And he is.
Caleb
What's his
Landry.
name, Charles?
I know his actor's name, Caleb Landry Jones. I can't remember.
Yeah, but
Stephen Burnett.
Stephen Burnett. Yes.
Yeah.
God, dang it! I can't think of anything today.
That's all right.
Terrible. But yes, 54 degrees, slightly overcast is the perfect weather.
Right.
Super 8 video. High 8 video.
Let's take a look at the diary. No key yet.
Oh, but there's no key.
How are we going to get this open? Oh, wait.
It doesn't matter. I'm the FBI.
Exactly.
Do what I want.
I am the FBI.
All right, here we go.
Diana, I've just opened Laura Palmer's diary.
This is the last entry. Third.
It's asparagus for dinner again. I hate asparagus.
I do too.
I'll never grow up.
I do too. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Am I the only one in the room that likes asparagus?
Yes.
I
yes,
think
you
so,
are.
Xan.
Yes, you are.
Oh, roasted in the oven with a little olive oil and salt and pepper. Oh, so good.
Then I guess you'd love my mother's buttered asparagus that she does.
Ooh, that sounds. There's no part of that sentence.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
1
like.
out of 26. Yeah. 1 out of 26.
So far, they have R and they have J.
Mm-hmm.
So
tell me how to get to Sesame Street.
Twin Peaks is brought to you by the letters R
and J.
and J, and by the number 21.
Right.
My
bet
bet
is
is it'll
it'll
test positive for cocaine. You didn't know Laura Palmer.
You ever been surprised before?
You know you're having sex with a Chinese assassin, right? People are different than what they tell you, Harry.
It's one of the greatest lines ever. Diane, I'm holding in my box.
Diane,
in my hand, a small box of chocolate
bunnies.
Ghostwood, hey, it's our logo.
There it is. Exactly. I immediately thought of you guys. It's like, yeah, there's where it came from.
That's where it came from. That's it.
But here's the thing, you guys. It's not about the bunnies.
Is it about the bunnies?
Is it about the... No, it's not about the bunnies.
Is it about the bunnies?
It's not about the bunnies. And chocolate, which I love.
Oh, yeah. There, I'm sure we'll agree with you.
Tell Harry I didn't cry.
Lucy, it's so horrible.
But
I love this scene. I think this is a wonderful scene here.
It's horrible.
It's so horrible. And it really, really is horrible. I mean, when you finally watch Fire Walk with Me, by the time it's over, you're crying as bad as Andy is right here. Right. I mean, that movie, I can watch that movie 1,000 times and I will cry 1,000 times. I never
still watch that one.
I've always wanted I wish somebody would edit a continuity cut where everything's in a chronological timeline, just to kind of see how it played out.
That'd be interesting.
I think it would be interesting. I mean, it goes against everything Twin Peaks is, but I think it would be interesting for
goes against everything David Lynch, frankly.
Yeah, but these days, with the Snyder cut and everything else, you could probably do something like that, I reckon. Do a fan cut of everything in chronological order.
You sure could.
If I had a fight with her, if I sing songs with her, if I went skipping rope with her,
I'd kill her.
Kill her. Cooper's amused. Bobby, here's how this works.
There we ask.
Briefly and to the point.
Cooper's a good
detective.
PRs that had remotes. Remember that?
Yep. Cooper is Batman. Let's face it.
This video, Bobby?
And this is really actually weird. My folks are actually big fans of the TV show The Good Wife.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, Kyle MacLachlan plays a character in that show. And I was actually sitting down to watch one episode with them. And my mom was like, that's the guy from Twin Peaks. I'm like, Mom, you know Twin Peaks? She's like, yeah, duh. I was watching that show.
Awesome. Your mom just gets better and better the more you talk about her.
There you go. But yeah, so she actually pointed that before I did. Because I was about to say, but that's Agent Cooper. She kind of beat me to it.
I told you not to be stupid, you moron.
See, now Cooper has figured it out, and he's T9ing a message over to Harry here.
Do you think I'm cute?
He did
Yes
not
or no?
do it.
Early texting.
Yep.
Because I'm asking you.
Come on, Bobby, give me a name.
Letter J, maybe?
J. Like
This
Homer
is a pretty
J.
good,
Simpson?
yeah,
Homer
JoJo.
J. Simpson.
Homer J.
Yeah.
Hey, Homer J.
Bartholomew Jojo and Homer J.
Jojo
You
Rabbit.
didn't do that to me. I like how Cooper is
You didn't love
he
her
didn't love her
anyway.
anyway.
Yeah, it's like, damn, that's cold.
He's cold, but he's pretty observant.
That's right.
And Bobby and Laura, I think, loved each other in that trauma bond kind of way, you know, the way that addicts love each other.
And here's Audrey being a jerk.
Exactly. And here's where she starts to get really annoying, at least when it came to me when I was watching this. I'm like, seriously?
This is extremely annoying.
She can't annoy me too much because it's Sherilyn Fenn. So
I know.
I'm good with that.
Okay, Bob. Okay,
I will
Bob.
overlook a lot.
Okay. Yeah, you overlook a lot because of
different
Sherilyn
Bob.
Fenn, but she does such a great job of being this obnoxious kid.
That's exactly it. I mean, kudos to the acting because she really gets under your skin when it comes to the annoying way she carries herself and everything she does.
Yeah. Don't put it back on the papers. Throw it out.
It's like, why didn't you just plug it up with your finger?
Move it around.
Yeah, let's make more of a mess. There we
That's
go.
right.
Yeah.
Sven speaking in Norwegian.
I also like how all this time that she's lingering around in here, nobody follows her.
Right.
True.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, this is
well, she's her daddy's girl, so she has the run of the place.
She wants some of the smorgasbord that the Norwegians
the smorgasbord board.
Yeah, this is a weird thing because the way Audrey's acting here with the poutiness and the coffee cup, you just want to say to her, you're supposed to be 18 years old. Grow up. Figure out new tricks, you know?
Right. Excuse me.
Is there something wrong?
Something wrong, young pretty girl?
Aw. Spilling the beans. Because somehow they're able to keep the biggest news that has hit this town
a secret.
Right.
Away from their
Nobody reads a newspaper, you know.
Or listens to the radio or anything else like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So explain to me why one murder is going to break off this deal. Like
because of how it looks, as far as the you know, just the image.
Exactly, the investment. It's like we're investing in a town where somebody got killed and everything else.
Right.
I guess, but I mean, by the time we build Ghostwood condominiums, it's going to be like 2 years from now. You know.
I agree. But
and you think?
I think.
Go ahead, George.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
And you'd think that in the Norwegians, where you had black metal, where folks were burning churches and killing each other, etc., be like, well, it's normal.
Right.
Exactly. You would think that like the home of black metal would be like, you know, oh, well, those condos, they'll be fine in a couple of years. No big deal. Oh.
Don't mind me. I'm just typing everything you say.
Lucy, you need to get a little bit better with espionage.
Right.
She needs to just keep writing pause, 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 pause. I'll be home this evening if you need a sympathetic ear. Yeah, you sound real warm,
Yes.
Dad.
Hey, it's Agent Scully's dad.
That's right.
Yeah, well, maybe if you
Ahab.
don't get kidnapped into the in the woods, you'd figure out a little bit more about what's going on here.
Right, pretty much.
Oh wait, that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, spoilers.
Spoiler.
30-year-old spoiler.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think his Moby Dick nickname would have been for Bobby?
Well, obviously it was not going to be Queequeg because that's Scully's dog. But
still, and it's not going to be Starbuck because that's Scully.
That's Scully's, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not up on my Melville like I should be.
Yeah, that's
Let's
a good
go
question.
Ishmael, I suppose. But...
Ishmael. There you go.
we could do Ishmael.
Let's go with that. Cheers, Nick.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, because that's obviously the opening phrase of the book.
Call me Ishmael. Yeah.
See, this is not fair.
Nope.
Taking a look at Laura.
That's
really what
happens
happens.
on Donna.
Yeah. She didn't tell us her name. She's good there. That's good. That's a good lie where she's just like, no, she didn't tell us her name.
Yeah, Cooper knows that she's lying too.
Yeah,
It's like,
she does.
this is serious.
Well, he knows how to read her because they're a couple in real life.
At least back then, right?
Back then, this was pre Linda Evangelista.
Right.
And I forget who he's married to now. I don't even remember her name.
And before Lara Flynn Boyle's face melted.
I don't know who told Lara Flynn Boyle she needed Botox, but they need to be smacked because Lara Flynn Boyle, she's perfectly gorgeous without anything. So
right.
It looks like he's married to Desiree Gruber these days.
Okay, yeah, and they have a couple kids.
Yep.
Here's where we're going to find out how good of a detective Agent Cooper is.
Right.
And
after Lucy gives her report.
Right. After Lucy gives her report, and after Lucy gives way too much detail. Lucy's
TMI.
Like,
I kind of identify with Lucy a little bit.
She's like, what's his name from Ant-Man? Wrong details. Those are the wrong details.
They said the person we're looking for is a biker. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Let me just use the fast forward on the corded VCR.
Looks like a hog to me. Holy smoke. Batman. I'm telling you, he's Batman.
He's pretty.
And she's Robin.
Or Sherlock Holmes. Take your pick.
Yeah, he's quite the Sherlock Holmes.
He is very much more than Sherlock Holmes.
Harry's a good Watson. He's good, but he's just one step behind.
Well, that's essentially their dynamic. It's Holmes and Watson.
Yeah, very much their dynamic.
That's right.
Although Cooper's less of a dick than Sherlock Holmes is.
And he doesn't have a heroin problem.
Right.
Pretty much everybody except Hitler is less of a dick than Sherlock Holmes.
Right.
Good point.
I just lost my dad millions of dollars. Isn't this funny?
It's hilarious. Yes. Hilarious.
Well, she probably realizes he's going to get another deal at some point.
I like how he says, everyone here have gun. That's no good.
You stay out of this.
Yeah, and once again, if you're shooting up churches and exploding places, etc., come on, Norway.
This is fine. This is fine.
Ghostwood logo.
There it is. I love how he's like, everyone here have gun. It's no good. It's like, that's the one thing that didn't happen to Laura.
Right.
Is she was not shot.
She was not shot.
That's like the only thing that didn't happen to her on the night she died.
So you were raped, stabbed,
beaten to death,
drugged, but not
tied
shot.
up, drugged.
And here, I believe we have the famous words that also played in the intro of our show.
Possessed. Yeah. Hammer time.
Can't touch this.
Everybody stop.
Out.
Ooh, it's a half of a heart on a mound of dirt.
Yep. And we get
I
the
will
famous
make you hurt. Oh, sorry.
Can have it all. My little pile of dirt. These necklaces were very popular back in the late 80s, early 90s. They were thin metal and they came as one piece and you could break them in half and you gave
Hey, wait a minute.
Exactly.
We have a match.
Words. Yeah. And I actually have to admit I did that with a couple of my girlfriends, Xan. I actually bought a couple of those half hearts and did that, during my teenage years when I was young and optimistic about love.
Until you had your soul crushed.
I did it with boyfriends, but I did it with some of my girlfriend friends because those hearts, they say best friends on them. At least, well, his does. His and Laura's say best friends.
Right.
So that's why I had, I did that with my friend Nicole. I did it with her, and then I had a pin that I gave to my friend Troy, who was another big Twin Peaks fan. So they were gold pins.
Meanwhile, at the Horn residence, bang.
Johnny, who's
bang.
Kind of inadvertently racist.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But
it was 1990. It wasn't really
thought
of in that.
Yeah,
context.
It was 1989, 1990, and Johnny has problems. So I don't know if he can make that kind of informed, racially sensitive decision.
No.
He just knows what he just knows what he likes, and if he likes a headdress, then that's what he wants to wear.
Well, I think they're trying to emphasize that he's childlike. So if he's like playing cowboys and Indians.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And he's David Lynch, everybody.
David Lynch.
Exactly, random head of some animal.
Random deer head on the table.
It fell down. Like, okay, why isn't it back up on the wall?
That's right. When I saw this, I was like, this is David Lynch. Yeah.
Maddie Ferguson, what are you doing here? Oh, wait.
What? Don't let the glasses fool you.
Right.
I can check for you. Yeah,
Close
would
the
you
door
please?
On the way out. Yeah, close the door.
Yeah, and,
go away. Go away.
Lock it. Keep on walking. Yeah, somebody didn't mount that very well. That mounting is way too small for that head size.
I was going to say, how the heck is it
Seriously.
going to stay up?
Well, if you notice, there's also holes missing in the wall. There's like holes in the wall.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So maybe it was also partially mounted to the wall and fell down.
Could be, unless somebody
But
took
then,
out the
but then why
frustration
would
of
you
the
have a small, mounting board behind it?
$10,000 in porno.
And why is he touching that without rubber gloves? Ew.
I really wish I knew.
Ew.
Oh, who's that? We've seen her before.
Rana Pulaski.
Yeah, you ever been surprised, Sheriff Truman?
Right. Hey, we've seen that truck before.
Seen that truck before, too.
Dissolve. Meanwhile, at the stately Johnson Manor.
Leo's Johnson's bad perm and kind of mullet. No, Leo, I want to see this.
No, he does improve his look a little bit because he just slicks everything back on his forehead. As opposed to this
he just like
little lock of curly hair that droops down over his eyeball.
Yeah.
I wonder whether this was the inspiration for Billy in Stranger Things.
Oh, interesting.
I would say it's a strong possibility, but there was a lot of 80s bullies characters.
Yeah.
True, but the way he treats her and stuff, and then of course we know Billy has a change of heart, etc. The way he carries himself, I immediately went to Billy from Stranger Things for some reason. The haircut and everything else, and just
that's a very fair comparison, I think.
Yeah, I could see that totally.
And I'm gonna snap your neck like a twig.
You have nothing to do with me, darling. That's right. Yeah. He didn't want a wife. He wanted a maid. He didn't have to pay.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Leo's terrible.
Awful.
Don't be like Leo, everybody.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're a vicious bastard, Leo, and I'm glad you're dead.
I'm glad you're dead. Yeah.
I'm glad he's dead.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So here we have
Statue of Anubis in the background, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like Anubis with chainsaw art.
Random Anubis statue.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite couples in Twin Peaks. And I love that things eventually turned out for them.
Right.
I can still hear those, Nadine.
I've been loving you too long.
Too long to
stop now. Snowshoe rabbit. Snowshoe.
Oh, hey, do you see, I don't think I ever noticed that before.
What?
Benjamin Horne and Catherine Martell are sitting together and talking. Yeah.
Who's the glad-handing dandy?
Yeah, put your hat over your lap.
Right.
Sure.
He knows Josie sits next to Pete, not Catherine.
Yeah, because Pete's a decent human being. Catherine is garbage.
Yeah. Pete doesn't treat her like crap like everybody else. Who's the glad-handing dandy?
Owns half a town. He owns a department store. He owns the hotel you're going to be staying at.
Mayor Milford.
Mayor Milford, everybody. Is this thing on?
Flick. Who's the lady with the log? We call her the log lady.
I know Xan has a particular affectation for.
Bow ties are cool.
She's the director's ex-wife, by the way.
Right.
Not the director's ex-wife. She's
What was I say?
Pete Martell's ex-wife.
Right.
Yeah.
Is this thing on?
Yeah, she and Jack Nance were married
Once upon a time.
back in the 60s. And she's also worked with David Lynch quite a bit. So
He likes saying the full title. Federal Bureau of Investigation, Special Agent Dale Cooper.
you got to say the whole thing. It's like a Tribe Called
Yeah, pretty much.
Teresa Banks, everybody. We're going to hear more about her in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
But she was just a little girl that got murdered.
Are you talking about that little girl
that got murdered?
Murdered?
I don't know why I think that guy's so funny, but that guy cracked me up.
I knew where you were going with that.
You knew where I was going with that.
Oh, totally. Totally. You are the leaders in this community. It is vitally important that this does not turn into a witch hunt.
Do you notice who is glaringly missing from this? Is the one person in town who knows all of these facts, and it's Leland.
Yep. Well, to be fair, he might be off grieving, but
true.
Green,
yeah,
yellow, red.
He's the one that killed Teresa Banks. He's the one that knows what's going on here.
Commercial break.
Commercial break, everybody.
Smoke them if you got them.
Now, don't encourage Nick, okay?
Good point. Yeah, right. He's got enough lung cancer already. Yeah.
There you go.
No.
Shame. I want a fireplace like that someday.
Well, that fireplace becomes pretty important toward the end of this series.
It really, at least
the original series.
At least the fire poker does.
Yeah. Well, the mantle too, because somebody.
Yeah, the mantle.
Somebody hits his head on the mantle.
Yeah, somebody does. Mm-hmm. They oddly survive it, though. I didn't expect that.
I didn't either, but
yeah.
There we are. Thank you, Twin Peaks: The Return.
Donna was in the video. And she won't tell them who shot it. Yeah.
I ain't dropping no eaves, sir.
Harriet to the rescue.
Donna, which do you like better? The blossom of the evening or the full flower of the evening?
The full flower of the evening.
It's like, I don't care. I'm stealing your bike.
Stealing your bike.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And do something about that perm. Because damn.
I tried to have that hair in like 1989.
Right, I know you did. You showed me a picture of that. You showed me a picture of that.
I had hair that short.
Mr. Bonehead Boyfriend.
Had boyfriends, yeah. I had hair that short, which I had then bleached with peroxide, and then I tried to get it permed, and there was one part, like right here, that just stayed really flat and fried to bits because I
was going to say it had to be scorched, totally.
Oh, it was scorched to pieces.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah. Sneak, sneak, sneak.
Sneak, sneak, sneak.
Hello.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, I need to borrow your bike.
Put air in the tires, will you?
Why don't you put the air in your own damn bike? I got things to do.
Brush your own damn teeth.
Actually,
now that some time has passed, I prefer
the full blossom
of the evening. And she's right. Out of the, that's the best one.
She's right. It's more evocative.
Who drives up to their girlfriend's house and throws beer?
Don't take any oink oink off that pretty pig.
Oh, these guys.
Yeah,
neither of them deserve girlfriends.
Nope.
Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Hayward. Yeah, he's acting all.
It's late, and it's curfew, and your friend is drinking, dumbass.
Exactly.
You're not drinking and podcasting now, are you?
Not today.
No. Maybe.
Well, we're all a little broken up about what happened today, sir. Yeah, wait outside because I can't stand you or your hair.
Right. Hold on. Well, let me call the sheriff's department and let them know you're drinking and driving.
Yeah, let me call the cops on the fact that you're drinking and driving.
Right.
And,
come on, man, let's go.
I also had shoes like that, I'm realizing. Like, I pretty much probably had that outfit. Because Harriet's about the age I was when the show premiered.
And I have to still get why he's standing on the hood of the car, but never mind.
Well, he's pretending he's surfing.
Yeah, that's what drunk kids do in movies in the U.S. Yeah.
I'm going to tell it to you, and I'm going to tell it to you straight.
Harriet, see that window?
Later. Ooh. Not smoking.
Yeah, that's also a really stupid idea.
Right. Let me just set your house on fire. Tossing that cigarette.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Already he was littering on their yard, and then
right.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me go urinate behind this tree.
We're going to the roadhouse. Here.
Such a class act all the way, right?
Right. Top notch. That's top shelf for boyfriend right there.
The kind of guy you want to introduce your daughter to.
Ugh. I explained to him that you were on a stakeout at the roadhouse, but he still wants to talk to you. Yeah, thanks for telling everybody where I am when I'm trying to be secret, Lucy.
Yes, we're on a stakeout here.
Yeah.
I'm patching you through now, Dr. Hayward.
Do you understand what that means?
Gotta put out all points.
Which is like
eight.
Which is like 8 streets.
Right. Spark 1 at 21, and that's it. No.
That's about it. Yeah.
That's about it. That's the only roads we know.
That's the only roads we know. Spark 1 and 21. That's it.
3 seasons in a movie. That's all we get.
So you get like the 2 streets and that's it?
That's it. The 2 intersections.
That's the only stoplight is at Sparkwood and 21.
Yeah.
Yep. Here is the wonderful Julie Cruz.
Maybe Highway 40 near Lewis Fork. That's about
Lewis Fork, yeah.
Drapes.
So I love how like there's one place where people go. Like
right.
Where everything happens.
Yeah, they go to Norma's to eat, and then they go to the Roadhouse to hook up and get drunk and see bands.
Right.
Or to start random fights.
Right.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, that's the thing. I mean, if I had a roadhouse here that every night had like really good music, except for like maybe twice, I would go
Yeah.
every night.
Looking at you, au revoir,
Or about
Simone.
Simone.
Who, from the Twin Peaks: The Return. That's one good thing I think that, especially that Twin Peaks: The Return did, is that we got like a spotlight Roadhouse band of the week.
Yeah, we did new music and some old music. Oh, Charles,
Julie Cruz, right here.
Julie Cruz. Speaking of Roadhouse music,
yes,
we should probably say rest in peace, Dusty Hill.
Right, from ZZ Top.
Yes, from ZZ Top, who played the Roadhouse in Twin Peaks: The Return. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, even though they weren't on the show, their music did get played with.
Their music got played. Yes,
because exactly. the MC was a big fan.
It was it was one of his favorite bands. Yeah, so
he turned it up to 11. We're going to turn it up to 11 in Dusty Hill's memory.
Yeah, in Dusty Hill's honor.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. Roadhouse.
There's liable to be trouble this evening. Yeah, you think?
Right. The song she's singing here is The Nightingale, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Which is on her solo album and also the Twin Peaks soundtrack.
Yep, on both. Yep. All of the songs that she does in Twin Peaks are on her solo record.
Definitely recommend her first solo album, especially Floating into the Night. Highly recommended. If you like this kind of music, which you should. It's awesome.
Yeah. My favorite Julie Cruz song is Mysteries of Love from
that's a great one.
From Blue Velvet, which is on her second record, isn't it?
Mysteries of Love, yes. It's on.
Well, you know what? Let's find out, kid.
It is, I think. Yes. My favorite is probably The World Spins.
World Spins is great. I love that song.
Yeah. I fell in love with that because of this show. Fell in love with that song.
No.
Thumbs up.
Questions in a World of Blue is on her second record.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Mysteries of Love is on the first.
Mysteries. Oh, is it on the first? That makes sense because because it was featured in Blue Velvet.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's right before Into the Night.
Yep. Donna yells it really loud.
Yeah. Donna.
It's like, what? I'm not deaf.
All right, Joey Paulson, it's your time to shine.
Right.
Uh-oh.
You're in my roadhouse, friend.
Hey, that's enough, pal. I'm going to pass out.
Yeah. Lights out, Mr. Monkey Wrench.
Monkey Wrench, yeah. Sucker punch. And I'm out for the count because somebody slipped me a Mickey.
Somebody put something in my drink.
Somebody put something in my drink.
In my drink. Yep.
Joey Paulson on the save.
I love that everybody just stands around and looks at him.
Right.
Just stands around and watches because I think everybody wants to see Mike get beaten up.
Yeah, we're cool with that. Yeah,
like I could watch
the whole town hates them.
Those other bikers and Bookhouse boys beat the crap out of Mike all night long.
Yeah, you go right ahead, do your thing. We won't judge. No judging.
Yeah. Yeah.
Punch.
Yeah, on goes the fight there.
Yeah, and look, Ed is just laid out.
Bam, smack, pow.
Joey Paulson's got a pretty nice perm, too.
Do you think they spotted us?
They did. There's only three. Give me
that's
a
why
donut.
he says, give me a donut. It's like, of course, because you're cops. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Why wouldn't you have donuts? Why wouldn't you have like an endless supply of donuts?
Gee, I don't know. You only have like sirens going, or
exactly, and cups of coffee and everything else.
Right.
This town only has 51,000 people.
Which we never really get to see the other 50,500 maybe.
Pretty much.
These are the only folks that
smell those Douglas firs.
I think I hear them. An old logging road. I told Doc Hayward his daughter was okay. She's fine. I'll take you to James. He's just sitting in the middle of the woods being weird.
You're not going to make me walk in that mud, are you?
Thanks, Joey. You couldn't have parked a little closer?
Dick.
Aww. Now that my best friend is dead, I'm going to take her boyfriend.
There you go.
Right. Right. Well, you know, he's available now.
I don't have an alibi for last night. I picked up Laura. She was in a shirt and stockings, and then she ran off, and I don't know what the hell happened.
Right. She just ran off in the woods, and it's like, okay. I just kind of sat there for a little while, then drove off.
Foreshadowing.
Yep. There are things about me you don't know, Dottie.
I knew her better than she
Things you should know.
Things you shouldn't understand. She said Bobby killed a guy.
He killed this guy.
Yeah, because Bobby killed a guy.
Bobby killed a guy.
Oh my God. No wonder he's such a jerk.
It makes some kind of terrible sense that she died. Because we wouldn't have a TV show without it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, everything that's going on with her, that she was killed, isn't a terrible surprise, unfortunately. But, yeah, the light at Sparkwood in 21.
So, Nick, we forgot to ask what you thought of this pilot the first time you watched it.
Well, I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was, like, if you will, a mini movie, but at the same time, you know, knowing all the nuances of this show, I found it a little bit disappointing at the same time. Because, like, is that it? Is that all that happens? You know, kind of thing? Because, as always, it leaves so many questions in the sense that, you know, when we get to
questions.
When we get to that point, of course, you know, here shortly, it just is way too neat of an ending. It's like, oh, that's how it is. Okay, boom, end the story. Yeah. You know,
right?
It's like I found it very unsatisfying, to be honest.
Well, this just escalated quickly.
This escalated quickly. Yeah, this is I could see that, especially if you know how much more we got out of this story and out of these characters. Having it end in such a neat little package would have been abrupt and disappointing.
Not to mention the whole concept of the Black Lodge and everything else, which we barely get to see in this.
Right. There's so much more that we get.
And then you're like I want more of that. And you get to the Black Lodge and like, what is that? What are we dealing with here? What's the concept behind it? So it is kind of, you know, if you just take this and you don't even watch the rest of the show, you take it as a kind of self-contained thing. Mm-hmm. I think it's way too neat. It just raises way too many questions, even for David Lynch.
Right, and it's almost like the neater and the tidier David Lynch is, the more questions you have. I have more questions for a neat and tidy David Lynch ending than I do a traditionally non-linear David Lynch ending.
You mean like in Blue Velvet, where it's all wrapped up neatly?
Yeah, but even with Blue Velvet, there's still, you know, I still have questions like, what happens with Ben and all those old ladies at Ben's apartment?
Right.
And
did Ben get arrested?
Did Ben get? Yeah, there's still characters that are out there making this town weird. And what happens to Jeffrey? Does he stay there and run the hardware store? Does he go back to college? I don't think we ever find that out, you know? But we know...
I'm just going to bury this here for somebody to find in a cliffhanger.
But we do know that the blue lady at least gets her child back.
Right.
So that's something. Yeah, that's buried really deep.
Yeah. But you do make a good point though, Xan, because you think of also Mulholland Drive, which is non-linear at all, and it does raise questions, but it makes, if you will, more sense, which is weird to say, but it kind of makes more sense compared to something like this or like Blue Velvet. It's just way too
That's
tidy.
right.
Right.
And off they go. That's right.
Okay.
And somewhere, Dr. Jacoby's lurking around behind the bushes.
But we don't know that yet.
No, we don't know that yet.
Dr. Jacoby, the reddest herring you've ever
What
seen.
goes around comes around. Yep. Which is, makes sense because it was just such an ostentatious character. You couldn't help but be interested in what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and, you know, Charles, we've talked about this before, that there are
Here come the fuzz.
so many people in this town that are good for this murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you've got Leo, you've got Bobby, you've got Jacques
Stand away from the
Renaud,
girl. Put your hands behind your head.
You've got Benjamin Horn, you've got Dr. Jacoby, and I think a pretty good suspect for her murder could have been Josie Packard.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So there's so many people that are good for this. And
Well,
Dr.
remember,
Jacoby
Josie's
just
also a
seems...
J. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's a J. Yeah. So there's...
Well, I guess like a good murder mystery would be like kind of, you think of like Broadchurch, for example, the first season of Broadchurch.
Yeah, definitely.
Same kind of deal.
Yeah. A lot of people are good. A lot of people are good for that murder as well.
I really like that series, by the way.
Oh, you and me both. Yeah. Wasn't
the first season especially.
Wasn't too
First
keen
season,
on the
yeah.
American remake, but the original BBC was awesome.
Grace Point, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
Broadchurch.
feel like once you've seen Broadchurch, Grace Point is like, yeah, I know what's going to happen. Am I really just watching this for Nick Nolte? And that's kind of what I did.
And David Tennant's American accent.
Right. Right.
Which he's able to do pretty much every accent in the world, but the American one tends to slide a little bit here and there.
Yeah, well, it's not his best.
No.
So.
Yeah, this is good to put these guys in jail together.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Great idea.
The only thing missing is Chad.
Right, Chad. We hate you, Chad. F you, Chad.
F you, Chad. I love how calm Dr. Hayward is. He's like, you realize that
you scared the crap of your mom and me.
When your best friend is murdered and then you go missing, how terrified you and your mother were? Like, you do realize that, right? I mean, he really just kind of levels with her, but I love this.
Where's your sister's bicycle?
Where's your sister's bicycle? If you said you'd put some air in the back tire.
Gotta go get it.
Yep.
So this is kind of like the contrast here between why Donna's relationship with her father versus Laura with her father, Leland.
True.
Right.
A policeman's dream.
Policeman's dream.
See, I would love to find that spread someday. I don't know. It's just we just don't get them kind of donuts over here in Italy. The only ones that come close to that are the ones in McDonald's.
We can hook you up here.
Yeah, we'll hook you up.
Yeah, we'll hook you up. Americans,
Cheers.
we can do donuts. Yeah,
that's what we do.
Yeah, because the only proper donuts I got over here, like come close to American ones, are the ones I order at McDonald's once a month.
I could see that.
Harry's going to eat like 90% of those, by the way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is 90% Harry. Yeah.
We figured this out during our course of our rewatches.
Right.
You're going to be here for some time. In these motels, they promise you a good rate, and when you get there, it's a whole different story. All I need is a bed, a bathroom, a telephone, and a television on the rare occasion that I might one day knock off early.
I can get you a good rate at the Great North.
Literally the only hotel in the city.
Right. Pretty much, yeah. Except for the Lamplighter Inn, of course.
Exactly.
Lamplighter Inn is just a diner, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like I'll be staying locally at a place called the Great Northern Hotel. Sheriff's
Great
getting
Northern
me rates.
Hotel.
And this is probably where Nick loses his video.
Yep. Just cut here.
Okay. All right. So we need to pause.
I'm paused.
Everybody pause.
Okay.
this up.
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1. Doink.
Here we are back in prison.
When you least expect it. Expect it.
I think James does a really good job of looking like a
Ho, 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 ho.
cornered animal there.
Right, and I think that was the intention.
Yeah, he does a really good job.
And
And they do a really good job of looking like
rabid dogs or whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
All animalistic, and he's like the cowering animal.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Bobby. So and the thing is, Bobby's so when you find out what happens, you know, later where he's all crying like she forced me to do drugs with her, you know.
So here's where you find out that Harry is getting it on with Josie Packard.
Harry and Josie Packard
Got
are
a little something on the side.
A little something with Josie Packard.
Like you wouldn't.
Like the sheriff. The sheriff is
no, exactly. First time I saw this, I was like, lucky bugger.
Yeah, it's funny that the sheriff is having an affair with like the biggest criminal in the town.
Yeah,
He doesn't know it.
At least until bigger criminals show up.
Is there a bigger criminal than Josie Packard?
Andrew Packard, perhaps? Or
maybe Thomas. Maybe Thomas.
Thomas Eckhart. Yeah.
Get me Thomas Eckhart.
Thomas Eckhart.
Yeah.
So 24 hours later, after finding presumably Laura's murder.
I'm afraid because the FBI's here now.
Red meat stop. And
right,
this
so
right here is the cliffhanger from the televised pilot.
Well,
Sort of.
Yeah. It's in the televised pilot, Sarah Palmer has this vision, but what she sees is she sees a flashlight going into the woods and digging up the necklace.
Right.
And a hand digging up a necklace.
A gloved hand.
A gloved hand. So we don't know whose hand it is. But in this version.
Right. She has a different dream.
It's more like she's remembering her morning.
Laura.
But question, in the one that got you had in the States in the first episode, did you ever actually get a look at Bob or not?
Not in the pilot.
Not in the pilot, no.
Okay.
We do later, but not in the pilot, no.
So when she has a dream about going in the room, which we'll be getting to shortly, and she sees Bob in the corner.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get that in the US version.
Not in this pilot, no.
No.
We get it later, but not in the pilot.
Yeah, that's...
Oh my God, he's so
there is. Yeah, right. And that was actually an accident because he was just like in the shot and David Lynch thought that was like coolest.
Look, he's in the mirror too.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
That's creepy right there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I know that Xan can't see that man even in Funko form, apparently.
Yeah. He's my heart.
You notice I did not put up the Bob Funko.
I did notice that, and I very much appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I can't stand that thing.
Now, this scene never actually makes it into anything.
No.
This is like a deleted scene here with Andy.
So it's unique
to
to this
scene where you see.
It is.
Yep.
This is all new.
You see Andy and Lucy shacking up together at Lucy's house.
Talking with Leland on the phone.
I'm not at the sheriff's office. I'm at home at my house.
Since I'm not there.
I don't know where the sheriff is.
So,
question.
Like,
Lucy, damn it.
So, question, did this sort of and then appear as like an extra scene on DVDs and Blu-rays or what have you, or would like Twin Peaks fans have to have seen this to actually get these scenes?
Well, by the time the Blu-rays and DVDs came out, Twin Peaks fans had access to this. Mm-hmm. To this pilot. So instead of having this as a deleted scene, it's just part of the pilot, which was available.
The international version. Yeah. The alternate pilot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like if you want to watch it, you can always just watch the alternate pilot, obviously, like we're doing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the gold box that I have, there's a way to just skip to this ending. Like, you don't have to watch the rest of the episode.
Yes.
You can just skip to the...
Right.
It'll just start playing from when the guys are in the cell barking at each other.
And that's what I ripped for Nick.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is why it's separate. Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Exactly. And big thank you to Charles for hooking me up there. Sharing is caring, as they say. So I appreciate
Sharing
your
is
caring, Charles.
That's right.
Yep.
It's all part of the team spirit. Because we wanted you as part of this 100th episode, Nick. So
I greatly appreciated that.
Are you sitting down?
Just remember that she's awesome. Are you sitting down? Yeah, I'm in my car.
Right. Of course you are. You're driving.
Yeah, Lucy's not really all that great with deductive reasoning.
But she is all kinds of adorbs.
Yeah.
She is.
She's wonderful. Yeah, she's wonderful, but she's not...
Yeah.
She's not that great with the deductive reasoning.
No.
She's not the sharpest tool in the shed, no.
Oh, damn it, I want donuts now so bad.
Oh, you and me both.
Yep.
Yeah.
If this was like a weekend,
should've...
I would be totally running to the... if they were still open. I don't even know if they're open. But,
no, they close at 10.
Damn it.
I should have...
You got to come over here to my part of town and come to Buckeye Donuts if you want some donuts.
Well, this late, yeah.
No, I hear you.
Yep.
I should have ordered from McDonald's earlier and just kept them aside for tonight.
Charles, the Sheets that's now on Cemetery Road, they sell donuts. You could go there.
That's true. Yeah, they just opened. Yeah.
I know. I was there yesterday, opening day. Or not opening day, the day after opening day.
In the old Max and Irma's.
It's glorious.
Yeah. I've never been to a Sheets, so...
Oh, it's a magical place.
Okay.
like Tahiti?
Tahiti, yes. I know what you're talking about.
Not as magical as Tahiti, but if you want cheap tacos at 3 in the morning.
I know about Teresa. I know the man who did her. And I know about the stitches with the red thread.
Stitches with the red thread. Oh!
It's like, what is all this? This is so brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
stitches with the red thread.
I'm on my way.
That would be Lil, my mother's sister's girl.
Right. Excellent.
A lot of foreshadowing again for Fire Walk with Me here.
Right.
I haven't watched this in a while. I'm kind of forgetting all the stuff that they have in this.
Yeah, it's been a while since I watched this alternate ending too.
Yeah.
Which is good because
it's Lucy from work. Yeah, I know Lucy.
Right. We met. You're kind of hard to forget.
Andy and I are over at my place, and he's playing his trumpet.
Right.
And oddly, that is not a euphemism for something.
Right.
No.
You remember that she saw the killer, she thinks.
Have you seen this man?
Yep. You tell the sheriff to get that sketch and meet me at the hospital. The hospital? Yes, the hospital. Are you deaf?
The hospital. It's a big building with patients, but that's not important right now.
Excellent. Just woken up from a sound sleep at the Great Northern Hotel. It's room 315, 2:24 a.m.
Received 2 phone calls back to back.
First
from a man unknown to me who has certain confidential information about the Teresa Banks murder. On the way to meet him now at the hospital.
Mrs. Palmer apparently remembered a vision of the killer.
And Agent Cooper doesn't really believe in coincidences.
When 2 events happen simultaneously, pertaining to the same object of inquiry, you must always pay strict attention.
So basically, oh my goodness.
It's Philip Gerard, the one-armed man, which is obviously named after the character in The Fugitive.
Mm-hmm. Inspired by The Fugitive.
Yep.
And like I said,
he's unarmed. Get it? He's unarmed.
Ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
That's a bad joke, Andy.
Pretty much. Yeah. Little
bad
poor
joke,
taste.
even for you.
Poor taste. Especially
again, like I said,
especially when you know the story of how the actor lost his arm.
It was a terrible car accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, Al Strobel. It was a terrible car accident. He almost lost his life. I mean, it was dicey.
Right.
But he was able to survive, but he did lose his left arm.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about this hospital. What I said earlier, it's kind of like the hospital in Halloween 2, where late at night there's just nobody
Through
there.
the darkness of future past,
Future past.
the magician longs to see one chance out between two worlds. Fire, walk with me. Say, that would make a catchy opening to a podcast.
Yeah.
I was just thinking the same thing. I was like, where have I heard that? Have I heard that before? Like 100 times now?
Lived above a convenience store.
We haven't heard the 100th time because we haven't...
99
Yes.
times I've heard it.
There you go. Yep. You mean like it is, like it sounds.
And I wonder the fact that obviously, granted the actor in real life has only the one arm, but maybe it's also like the fact of the Black Lodge where you have the arm in the Black Lodge.
That's part of where that comes from.
There's
exactly.
a kind of strong, definite connection to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've not seen the whole series, so I'm kind of piecing it together now. I'm doing my own detecting, if you will, as it were.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep.
A path is formed by laying one stone at a time, Nick.
That's exactly right.
There you go. Yeah, because I was like, yeah, okay, that's where the whole thing of the arm in the Black Lodge comes from. Then.
Yeah, I'd forgotten there was so much more about Teresa Banks in this. I think they might have thought about doing other movies, maybe about the Teresa Banks situation.
Well, they had it. I think the reason they introduced Teresa Banks was to give a backstory to explain that it's a serial killer.
Yeah,
because
serial killer.
Obviously, this Laura wasn't going to be the first murder, so they had to come up with another person that he already murdered.
Yeah, somebody else who he'd killed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Charles, do we ever see Bob's tattoo?
In this, I believe we do.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe here in the
I
alternate
think
ending.
So.
We'll find out.
Because there's really not much more about this tattoo.
That is so not Bob,
episode.
you guys. Come on.
That's
what?
Frank Oz.
It looks. Oh, I was thinking it looks like BTK.
Yep.
It does look like BTK. You're right. Oh my gosh.
Right.
I've watched too many serial killer shows.
No, you're right.
I'm like, that's BTK.
I'm right there with you.
Now I want to watch Mindhunter again.
That's where I got it from, because that's Raider from BTK, from Mindhunter.
Oh yeah. Candles around a mound of dirt.
Where have I seen that before? Oh, in the boiler room. Where have I seen that before?
And Bob's just going to crawl around on the floor for a while. And if you'll note, it's in a very industrial setting.
Yeah, Bob's got a denim vest in this rather than a denim.
There's the tat right there.
There it is.
Fire walk with me right there. Good call, Nick.
Yeah.
Mike.
See, that's why this ending
Welcome
kind of
to the killer's lair.
This is why this ending disappoints me so much, because there's so much to Bob, and he really lasts like 2 minutes in this.
Yeah, it's like, okay, the killer is some random guy we don't know until the very end.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, knowing how poignant Bob is in the series.
And the idea that Bob's just a regular guy, like he's just a real person.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's no supernatural.
Yeah, you're right. It's very disappointing.
It's just like he's like a garden variety serial killer, I guess.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because then, of course, here shortly we'll cut to the Black Lodge, and that's why it's so disappointing with everything that surrounds this show. With how important Bob is and the whole thing of possession and everything else, and doppelgangers.
Now, this part obviously is in Cooper's dream sequence.
Yeah, this is in Cooper's dream.
Right here, this part.
So we get a little bit of this.
Yeah.
Which is how far along in the series?
Episode 3. The televised.
Episode 3.
Yeah, the televised episode 3.
Okay. Okay, so it wasn't that far off.
So that includes the pilot. Yeah.
Right.
Catch you with my death bag.
Death bag. So yeah, what happens is Cooper has this dream, which is essentially what we're watching here. Mm-hmm. And then he wakes up, he calls Harry and says, "Harry, I know who killed Laura Palmer." Right. And then he gets there in the morning, he's like, "Yeah, I don't remember." And for me, when I'd only seen this pilot, I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Didn't you all meet him downstairs?
You may think I've gone insane,
because it's weird, Xan, because I started watching the show proper right after this, was like, what?
Right.
You guys don't remember all this?
Pume, pume. And then all of a sudden Mike comes out of nowhere and blows Bob away.
Yeah. And that's Bob done.
And that's it.
Right. And we have no more Bob, and now we have Mike as a murderer. So I also like
Got a nickel?
The mystery of Philip Gerard, shoe salesman, and Mike being his alter ego in possession. And there's so much, like you said, Nick, there's just so much more to these characters.
Well, they pulled out the mystery so much longer. I mean, you think also the therapist, I believe, in the TV show, you hear him listening to the tapes of Laura, and you're like, oh, could he be the one? Because he finds the half-heart and everything else. So it draws out the mystery longer. So it's kind of like, that's why I say it's too self-contained, and certain characters are just, they're literally ruined here because they're such good characters.
They are such great characters, and
here we cut to the Black Lodge.
Yep. 25 years later.
And you got to hand it to Kyle MacLachlan. 25 years later, he looks so much better than this.
Right. So much better than his makeup. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you even see him in The Good Wife. He looks better than this.
Oh, yeah.
That's even more recent. He just has like a shock of gray hair, but he's pretty much the same where he was before. Oh, I love this man to bits.
The Man from Another Place.
He is one of my favorite characters in the
Michael
whole thing.
J. Anderson. Yep.
Yeah, Michael J. Anderson is fabulous. And here she is.
Cheryl Lee.
Sing a pretty song.
Let's rock.
Yeah, let's rock. Yeah, this is still Cooper's dream. Yeah, this is still Cooper's dream, because in his dream we see Laura whisper to him, and then later on we see the dream again, where we actually hear what Laura says.
You've got something on your nose.
And you don't get that iconic scene from the TV show, the famous Meanwhile, where she screams, which is one of those iconic moments of Twin Peaks.
Yeah. One of the most common Twin Peaks tattoos I see are the Meanwhile hands.
Yeah.
There you go.
I see that quite a bit.
And then that little shot of Michael J. Anderson kind of going, doppelganger.
Doppelganger.
I love that.
See, this is why you need to go through the whole series, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's exactly why.
My favorite scenes are the Black Lodge.
It's an owl flying through the air in the shadow.
It's an owl flying through the air.
It's an owl, as we find out later.
But they're not what they seem.
They're not what they seem. Yeah. I've got
good news.
Yes, that gum you liked is coming back.
That gum you like is going to come back in style.
It's juicy fruit.
That never went out of style.
Right.
That's the best of the gums.
The best of the gums.
Very popular in South Africa too, mind you.
Is it really?
Yeah, it was my mum's favorite gum, and every time she went to South Africa, she'd always, to visit my aunt, she'd always be sure to come back with masses of juicy fruit with her.
Well, that's usually the one I use to, when I fly in airplanes to deal with the air pressure.
Oh, yeah, to do the ear pressure thing?
Yeah, because I suffer from it really badly, so, yeah.
Oh, shame.
But it is Laura Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
She's
Laura
my
Palmer?
Cousin. I feel like I know her, but sometimes my arms bend back.
Sometimes my arms bend back. Such a great technique of
she's filled with secrets.
Filming this backwards and then reversing it to make it forwards.
Oh, yes. And I believe there's actually a YouTube video with Michael J. Anderson teaching folks how to speak backwards.
We're from the birds sing a pretty
song.
And there's always music
in the air.
Cut to Angelo Badalamenti. Sultry jazz.
Yeah, and Michael J. Anderson getting down. There you go. I love how he just jams through it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, check him out there. Jamming.
If I were him, I would have kept that suit. That suit is rad.
Right.
Oh yeah, he looks awesome in it.
It's a good look.
Yeah.
Now you notice that the Black Lodge floor isn't like that kind of like dark green and white.
It's almost like yellowish white. It's off-white.
It looks more black and white. It looks like the floor in Harry Spencer's apartment building.
It's almost like kind of that almost sickly white, if you will. It's like an off-white yellow color. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is what we get. Good old smoochy, and there we go.
Yeah, we get the kiss.
This considered necrophilia.
And then we get the secret. Not in the lodge. Everybody's just something else.
My father
killed me.
Ah, so we do find out what she whispers in his ear.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
She says, was my father who killed me. Yep.
Executive producers, Mark Frost and David Lynch.
Lynch. But yeah, that's all we know for now.
Yep. And this part ends up going into the closing credits.
Oh, good old Monty Montgomery.
Yep. The cowboy.
Yep, the cowboy. Man from another place. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If you'd had... If you'd had just this international pilot,
right?
There's no giant. There's no this is the only Black Lodge you get. There's nothing in the woods. There's no owl cave.
You don't get Wyndham Earl.
There's no Josie's face in the
drawer.
Drawer
knob. Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't even get the white. You don't even get the White Lodge. You know.
No, you don't get any lodges except for this one.
You don't get Leland Palmer with white hair.
No, you don't get any of that stuff.
Yep. And that's our pilot. Our alternate pilot.
That's our pilot, everybody.
Hope you enjoyed it. I know I did.
Oh, you know
Nick, did you enjoy it?
It makes me.
Oh, it was great fun. It was great fun.
How'd you do? Did you enjoy your first commentary?
And watch the rest of it.
Oh yes, indeed I did. It was great. You know, it definitely was very educational, if you will, when it came to that. and heck, any time I get to hang out with the two of you in any form or shape, it's always a blast. So of course, had a great time. But yeah, as I mentioned before, you know, if this is all you go by, you miss out on so much.
Yes, you do.
Oh yeah.
Yes, you do.
If you don't watch the series proper.
No, essentially what this is now this international pilot is like a novelty. Once you've actually gone through the series and you're like desperate for more, you know, that you go back and you go like, oh, this is interesting. It's more like a curiosity, I think.
I agree. I think, you know, one should probably maybe not watch this unless you've actually watched the whole series as a whole. Because it was the fact that, you know, granted, okay, we you know, folks who've listened to you guys, you know, heard you discuss everything Twin Peaks related. But, you know, for anybody who's listening who wants to get people involved in Twin Peaks and get them to check it out, you probably would want them to watch the series proper because you get the whole mystery throughout. And it's not solved in, what is it, an hour and a half, 2 hours?
Yeah, it's like I think with this version is like an hour and 38 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nick,
so you lose all the spice. Yes.
So Nick, I have a question. So I know what Xan's rating would be. I know what my rating is. What's your rating for this alternate pilot?
I actually give this 7.5 out of 10. Dancing Men from Another Place.
All right.
Good one.
All right. So you get a little low, I think, but.
Because I know of how rich this series is.
Right.
That's the thing.
Okay. That's fair. I think that's fair. All right.
Yeah, that is the thing. When you know how much else there is, it's like, seriously, I want to stay up all night and watch the rest of season 1.
Right. I do too.
That's what I'm saying. It's great because it's a great gateway into it, but knowing how intricate it is, it's very underwhelming compared to what is out there, if you will, when it comes to the story at large. That's the reason why.
All right.
Yeah,
So
that's fair. I think that's fair.
I think that is too. So, Xan, any other thoughts about this alternate pilot you want to share?
Yeah, I really like that this was not all we got of Twin Peaks, because if this was all we got of Twin Peaks, we wouldn't still be talking about it.
Obviously, yeah.
We wouldn't still be talking about it.
Certainly not for 100 episodes. Yeah.
Not for 30 years.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We wouldn't be talking about it for 30 years. And God, has it been that long? God, I just made myself sad. Anyway,
Imagine how I feel.
Nick, can I have some of your whiskey?
If I can send it through the camera, I would.
That's good. That's good enough. Glug glug. Anyway, so I like that Bob wasn't just a real guy that was Freddy Kruegering it up in the hospital basement.
A little bit.
I like that Mike wasn't just one entity, that he was, Mike's an entity like Bob, and that we have Philip Gerard that has to deal with him. And,
right.
I like that we get more about this quirky little town.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because if you notice, like, we never really went back to Ronette Pulaski after she in the hospital.
Nope,
like,
not at all.
They see her that one time, and then that's it. Like that, so we don't know what's going on with her. I mean, there's a lot of unanswered stuff. So
you just have to assume that she was there to provide some clues, I guess, and that's it. But you have to kind of assume that if you don't watch anything else, that she turned out okay because she was in the hospital, I guess.
That's exactly
you would hope so. But
right.
The thing is, David Lynch is weird. I mean, David Lynch can be weird and nonlinear, but what this show proved is that there is a cerebral television audience.
Yeah.
And we did not know that before.
Nope. No, we didn't.
And this is what showed network executives and show creators that there's a lot more you can do with television. And we wouldn't have television today that we have if we hadn't had this series.
Yeah, you kind of
agreed.
You kind of realize how far network executives probably have come since back in the 60s when they told Gene Roddenberry that the original pilot for Star Trek was too cerebral.
Mm-hmm.
On NBC. Yeah.
And then I think it also inspired other directors. I mean, Xan, you and I kind of mentioned this earlier, when we were podcasting earlier, but you think of folks like Darren Aronofsky. I think if you hadn't had David Lynch, you wouldn't have had a Darren Aronofsky doing what he does.
No, definitely not.
That's very,
definitely
very
not
true.
a David Fincher, I'm sure.
Or David Fincher, for that matter.
Yeah. Very, very true. So, David Lynch, by this point, he had been nominated for a couple of Oscars. He had two best picture nominations under his belt at this point.
Right.
So he wasn't exactly an unknown person, but it was that weird movie about the ear and then that sad movie about that elephant guy. So he was not terribly accessible to most people, but the United States has millions and millions of people in it, and the ones that will watch cerebral television make up enough of the population that you can have a show like this and have it be successful.
Yeah.
Well, I think, TV in the 80s, like the big murder mystery back in the 80s was obviously Who Shot JR.
Oh, right.
So, and that kind of captured the nation. It became this big fad back then. Because I remember,
it was a big thing.
I remember people had Who Shot JR t-shirts back then. I'm old enough.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
I know.
Oh.
Showing my age.
Yeah.
Back in the day. So,
but it's true. Folks who didn't watch soap operas was kind of hooked with was it, Dallas? I believe it was.
Yeah, Dallas. And it was a very big thing. And then here comes Twin Peaks at the beginning of the 90s, and it kind of captured that same spirit. This
Hey, Charles.
gestalt of fascination and just happened to be a murder mystery. It's another murder mystery, but this time it's darker and stranger, and the characters are like, kind of a little bit partially off-putting, but they're fascinating to watch, and that's what I think captured the imagination.
And we had Who Killed Laura Palmer t-shirts, just like we had Who Shot JR t-shirts.
Yes, we did.
Charles, do you realize that when JR got shot, Nik wasn't even born?
Yes, I am aware of that. Yes.
I was born in 1982. Yes.
And JR got shot in 1980.
Right.
Exactly. So I wasn't even a dream in my parents' eyes at the time.
You weren't even an inkling yet.
But at least you were around for when Maggie Simpson shot Mr. Burns.
I was.
That's the important part. Yeah, that's the important part.
But you guys make great points. I mean, it almost makes you think of this whole murder mystery that Lynch brought to the, shall we say, the modern audience. I think it's almost kind of like literally what Edgar Allan Poe did with Murders in the Rue Morgue, where he basically launched the detective story with that story. Mm-hmm. I think Lynch kind of did that with this, if you will. He kind of gave it that, that weird feel, that whole concept. And I think it could almost be equated to the Edgar Allan Poe, if you will, of cinema, of TV, or what have you, because of that. Because of
and
the dark.
And this definitely has, the darkness. And, Edgar Allan Poe, no matter what it is, has that ominous feeling. Like, even when I find out who did this,
right,
it's not going to be good. It's going to be a problem. And that's kind of what happens with this. That even when we find out who killed Laura Palmer, it's not a simple answer. It's not a clean justice has been served kind of answer.
Yeah.
It's messy. It's messy and it's ominous and it's never going to stop.
And it opens multiple doors because it's not even the end of the story.
Right. And we'll never get an end to the story. David Lynch will never let us have an end to the story.
Right. Which is why he gave us the ending he did in The Return with that final shot.
It's not the ending we need, but it's the ending we deserve.
Yeah.
So.
It's an ending. That's enough.
It's an ending.
It's
well, it's that
an ending. That's enough.
It's almost that it's an open-ended ending, because leaving that door cracked open, like, well, hey, if I ever want to do more, I can do more. But if I don't, I can just leave it here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's, I don't like it. I don't like that my characters are in limbo again, but I don't watch David Lynch to have happy endings.
Right. Well, good thing, because you're not going to get many.
Because it ain't going to happen.
We get a few, but looking at Ed and Norma, for example.
I'm looking at Ed and Norma. I'm looking at Sailor and Lula.
Yeah.
At
least until Sailor ends up in jail again because he's an asshole. But
well, and it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
You've got you've got William Farnsworth and Harry Dean Stanton. That's kind of a happy ending.
This is true.
There you go.
That's a good one. Yeah. That's an excellent one. Yeah.
That's nice. That's a nice little sweet ending. Yes, the one and only David Lynch you can watch on Disney Plus, ladies and gentlemen. Straight Story.
Well, we talked about that it was such a pleasant surprise, that movie, for both of us, because neither of us had seen it.
No, David Lynch can do anything. That's your proof right there.
That's right. All right. So we didn't get any Ghostwood mail for our 100th episode. I'm kind of disappointed, but because of our sporadic, shall we say, release schedule.
I will email you my hospital release papers, and it will feel like Ghostwood mail.
Exactly. So we understand, obviously. So, but if you do want to get a hold of us, you can reach us at ghostwoodpodcast@gmail.com. That's ghostwoodpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Ghostwoodcast on Twitter or Ghostwood Twin Peaks Podcast on Facebook. And Nick, since you're our special guest, why don't we ask you first, where can they find you when you're not listening to Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks podcast, in the supermarket. All lost in the supermarket.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Thank you.
There you go. Well, first off, thank you both so much for having me. And, when it comes to me, folks, if you're big fans of country music, you can find me hosting the Whiskey and Cigarettes show, where we play traditional country, today's country, and everything else in between. For more info about that, you can visit our website, whiskeyandcigarettesshow.com. If superhero movies are your speed, I do host Happiness in Darkness, the superhero movie podcast. We discuss all superhero movies under the sun. We are hoping and praying that Charles might be joining us on our next episode, where we'll be discussing The Suicide Squad. Hopefully he will be a part of that, but we'll be crossing our fingers and seeing what happens there. And also myself, the wonderful Xan Sprouse, and of course Rachel Friend do, of course, host Gold Standard, the Oscars podcast, where we discuss all the Best Picture winners in chronological order from 1927's Wings to the present day. We actually finished discussing The Bridge on the River Kwai, and coming up next we'll be discussing Gigi. So I guess we'll see if thank heavens for little girls or not so much. I guess we'll see when it comes to that. But that's pretty much. Thank
heaven for little girls.
Oh, little girls get older every day.
That's
Great
right.
voice, Maurice, but never sing that song again.
Well, we'll have you know how you get through that, honestly? You think of the Peter Sellers version when he's singing that.
Doesn't make it better.
Well, no, not really, I guess.
There's no making that song better. Like
that's probably the song you don't want to remember from Gigi. You probably want to remember I Remember It Well or other songs, but not Thank Heavens for Little Girls.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. It's like, because you know how like when you do Baby It's Cold Outside, but you switch the voices, it's a little better.
Right.
There's no making this. This song needs to be buried in Mount Doom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I agree. And also, of course, you can find myself and the wonderful Charles Skaggs discussing superhero TV shows. Him and I wrapped up Loki on, of course, the Fandom Zone. We had a wonderful time doing that. And I believe, of course, him and I will be switching to Titan Talk, the Titans podcast, to be discussing the upcoming season 3 of Titans. And I'm very excited about that for sure. So I guess that's pretty much me.
Awesome. And Zane, where can they find you?
Well, like Nick said, with him and Rachel Friend doing Gold Standard, the Oscars podcast. And when we're not in Ghostwood Forest, Charles, we are in the Drunk Cinema Theater.
Yes, we
discussing some of our favorite movies with some of our favorite adult beverages. The next of which will be coming down from London and doing Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I rewatched that this past week in preparation.
Great movie.
I just love that movie. It's a lot of great lines in that movie, a lot of great actors, and I mean,
the second installment of the Cornetto saga.
That's right, the Cornetto trilogy.
I love that they call it the Cornetto saga.
Right. And the ice cream actually makes an appearance in each of the movies. So
yeah,
it sure does. Yeah, even if it's just a wrapper, it makes an appearance.
That's true.
So shout out to the Italian Cornetto.
There you go.
So delicious.
And you can't go wrong with a Simon Pegg, Nick Frost movie. I'm just saying. Nope. It's impossible.
No, you absolutely cannot.
All right. And then, of course, as for me, at Charles Skaggs on Twitter, at Charles Skaggs on Facebook and Instagram, and my blog of the geeky things.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
Damn Good Coffee and Hot, where I talk about all the stuff we talk about here on Ghostwood. So, of course, any Twin Peaks stuff that comes around the block, or David Lynch stuff, or comic book sci-fi news from other podcasts for Southgate Media Group, like Nick said, the Phantom Zone podcast and Titan Talk, which is going to be starting up again soon. Can't wait for that to talk with you. And then Drunk Cinema, of course, like you said, Zan, where I talk those great movies, and we'll be talking Hot Fuzz coming up. Can't wait for that. And then Next Stop Everywhere, the Doctor Who podcast, where wonderful special guest companions like, hey, the two people I'm talking to right now join me from time to time, along with other great people. We just talked the Asylum of the Daleks with Holly Mack from the Fires Fangirls podcast, and had a blast with that one. That was really good. Holly really enjoyed herself on that one. So I encourage everybody to tune in for that one. That was a lot of fun. And then coming up in 2 weeks, John Takis is returning, and we're going to be discussing the Ark from the William Hartnell era, because John is a big Hartnell geek, and so we're kind of like going way, way back to the 60s. Good.
Nice. Hey, and congratulations on your paperback completion.
Yes. Yeah. I posted that on Instagram that it only took 35 years waiting for BBC Target Books to publish the last missing, incomplete, gnawing at my very soul part of the Peter Davison era Doctor Who episode novelizations. So
nice.
So I checked that one off. The things to do before I die list, I guess. just in the nick of time. No pun intended. No pun intended. All right. So next time on Ghostwood, well, episode 101. We did the first 100. I guess now we're starting the next 100, and we're going to do things a little differently, aren't we, Xan?
Well, you know how I always say, Charles, that what we discuss is everything tangentially David Lynch and tangentially Twin Peaks?
Mm-hmm.
One thing that Twin Peaks did for me, and I think I can speak for you when I say this, is that it gave me this whole new crop of favorite actors.
Yes, it did.
Of people who I will watch in anything at any time, anywhere, because, they were in Twin Peaks. I'll watch that.
Yes.
So we are going to celebrate some of our favorite Twin Peaks actors and some of our favorite movies that they have starred in that are completely not Twin Peaks related. This is sort of similar to our digression into the X-Files, where we focused on Twin Peaks actors and their guest starring roles on the X-Files. But This is some of our favorite movies that star Twin Peaks people. So we are going to kick it off with Special Agent Dale Cooper himself.
Who better, right?
Where he plays a special agent of the third kind, sort of.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
See what I did there? Yeah, as a special agent from another place, from in 1987's The Hidden.
Right.
And where we get to play one of my favorite cinematic games from the 80s, where when you think about a movie from the 80s and you wonder, now was that Michael Nouri or was that Chris Sarandon?
Obviously a very popular game. Yes.
Yeah, a very, very popular game. And The Hidden is a good one because it actually has 2 Twin Peaks actors in it.
Well, yes, because in addition to Kyle MacLachlan, we get a certain actor you may recognize by the name of Chris Mulkey.
We don't get him for very long,
right?
But we get him. We get Hank Jennings, Chris Mulkey.
Right. So we got Cooper and we got Hank Jennings, Norma's horrible ex-husband.
Horrible ex-jailbird ex-husband. Yeah. So,
and we're glad you're dead.
So yeah, and we're glad you're dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to be talking 1987's The Hidden, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. I love it. I own it on Blu-ray. So we'll figure out a way for Charles to watch it. Either
I will figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll make this happen. We'll figure this out. But
either we'll do like a watch party, or I'll get that over to you, or you can just come over here and you can just watch it, because
that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic too. So, little confession on my part: I've never seen The Hidden ever.
Oh, see, here's what happened to me in 1990 is that I started watching Twin Peaks, and then I pretty much thought I was going to die if I didn't get to marry Kyle MacLachlan. So I started watching like every Kyle MacLachlan movie I could get my hands on. And
so you started stalking him through movies.
I stalked him through movies, yes.
Yeah. So this movie, I also was, looking at, Wikipedia on this one, also features Claudia Christian, who of course played Susan Ivanova from Babylon 5.
We might have some boobies in this too, now that I think about it.
Well, she plays a stripper, so So fingers crossed.
Odds are good. Yeah,
Odds
I
are
don't.
good.
The problem is when I grew up with this movie,
Isn't this
on
an R
tape,
movie?
It is, but when I grew up with it on tape, it was like from TV.
Oh.
So I'm pretty sure there's boobies, but there's part of me that's like, maybe, but yeah, I'm pretty sure there's boobies.
Okay, so
Well, where Kyle MacLachlan can be found on cinema, boobies are usually not far behind. Looking at you, Showgirls.
Oh, I love Showgirls. It's one of my favorites.
I'm surprised we didn't do that one, to be honest with you.
It's so bad, though. I mean, it's...
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like...
You respect our audience and you don't want to put them through that.
It's not, I mean, it's not that. It's just such a...
It's bad.
They're just terrible people. They're just terrible.
And the story is terrible, Zan. Let's be honest.
It's, yeah, and it's, you know, and I feel like more people know about Showgirls than they know about The Hidden. I feel like The Hidden is a little bit of a hidden gem for, you know, not to, no pun intended.
Well,
right.
So I think it's a little bit better of a Kyle MacLachlan movie.
And then in The Hidden, we also get to see, and I'm not sure for how long, obviously haven't seen the movie, but Danny Trejo is in this movie as a prisoner.
Yeah, not terribly long, but yeah, we do see Danny Trejo.
So we get Machete.
Machete.
So that should be fun. I'm looking forward to it because this is one of those movies I've heard a lot about over the years, obviously because of Twin Peaks, and haven't seen for whatever ridiculous reason on my part. So I guess I get to rectify this one.
It's one of those that stayed on the list and kept getting added to, you know? That happens.
So I can get to cross this one off my list too. All right.
Nice.
So Nick, thank you so much for joining us for this 100th
you,
episode of Ghostwood. Really glad that you were here, and I hope you had a really great time.
Oh, it was a blast. I mean, as I said, whenever I get to podcast either with you, Charles, or with you, Zan, it's always a joy. You know, you are two of my favorite people to hang out with and podcast, etc. And I'm crossing my fingers that now once things are opening up and everybody's vaccinated, we actually finally meet in real life and take that selfie that I really want to post on my wall and auction when I die, that I actually have met you guys in person. Also to prove to my brother that you guys are not imaginary.
Right.
I don't know, though. I mean, Cousin Janet says we should never meet. That's part of our...
This is true.
She did not say you couldn't meet Charles, though.
Yeah.
There you go.
But to be fair,
thing.
I'm kind of imaginary, so...
Yes, because according to my brother, everybody I podcast with is imaginary.
There you go.
Charles is actually Laurie's Canadian boyfriend.
Well, he's got those blue northern eyes. There you go.
Charles is real. I've
pretty blue
seen him in
eyes.
person.
Yeah, we actually have photographic evidence that we've met.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have photos of him and Laurie in my house.
Right.
Like they're real people.
It's on the interwebs, people. The two have met. I can attest to that.
now there's no verification for Nick though. So as far as we know, because you notice we never see any pictures. Interestingly enough, of Nick and Sonia ever. I've never seen a picture of Nick and Sonia. Have you, Zan?
We are.
No, I have not.
We are purely imaginary.
Apparently.
Okay, so Nick, what is the Italian version of the United States boyfriend in Canada? Is there an Italian version of that?
Not really, no. I mean, the only thing that around the office that there was this one chap who said he had a girlfriend somewhere. They used to call her JPEG, but that's pretty much it.
But yeah, living in the Midwest, especially in the Great Lakes area, that was the deal. If somebody made fun of you for not having a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you're like, I do. I see her in the summer. She lives in Canada.
No, not really. There was just this one guy who was like, oh, I've got this girlfriend from like, I don't know, it was like South America or something. Oh, yes, JPEG or PNG. We know her very well.
That's hilarious.
If I recall correctly, Nick said that Sonia was in Canada for a while. Was she not?
Yes, indeed. Because she
coincidence? I think not.
I think not. No.
I think she's either a secret agent
when
or
two
whatever.
events happen simultaneously, Charles.
Yes. Thank you.
That's right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, she's actually Russian Canadian. There you go. So she's half KGB and half a nurse. So I guess
half
that's
Mountie.
kind of that's right. So she's kind of like all over the place. But yeah,
she's too busy to take selfies with you because she's like saving lives and stuff.
Yes, exactly. Because when she comes home, like, do you want to take a selfie? She's like, I'm in kind of like my slacks. Do you want me to take a photo? Now I'm like, no, babe, you go ahead and have a shower.
Yeah.
A likely story, sir.
A
Likely story.
Yeah.
All right. So while we continue to debate Nick's existence, everybody, please come back for episode 101 of Ghostwood as we discuss the hidden. So we got Kyle MacLachlan, Chris Mulkey, Xan Sprouse, yours truly. I don't think I have to say anything
And Claudia
more.
Christian's boobs.
And Claudia, hopefully, fingers crossed, Claudia Christian's boobs. All right. So thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll see you for the next 100 episodes of Ghostwood, starting next time, right here on Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks podcast. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.